Hello everyone! We are back once again with Poemix Wright Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. And we're in the third case, and we're cross-examining Machi here. He's staring right into your soul right this second. And yeah, it's fun, right? Give me a second. Let me refresh the old laptop. Because it's saying I'm offline, and I don't know if I am offline or online, because my laptop is old and weird, and anyway, we have some cross-examining to do, and by cross-examining, I mean perceiving. But if the killer truly followed the lyrics of my song, I, that is he, hey Hiyori, what's up? I, that is he, cannot have done it. He says that because the lyrics are in English, he does not understand them. Really? He says that because the lyrics are in English. Wait a minute. Why is he looking that direction with his gray eyes? Hello, hey Mafia babe. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. Where a young boy just stares at you, stares into your very soul, or is looking slightly to the right, or to the left maybe, I don't know. But yeah, how you doing? How's everyone doing? You're first, Hiyori, well done. Anyway, let's do some perceiving, eh? Gotcha! Machi, you can't fool my eyes. You glanced toward her the very moment Lemuroyer said the word English. You're just tired. Did you have a good, Easter? Did everyone have a good Easter? Today's Easter, by the way, those of you watching in the future, on the YouTubes. Why? And don't bother interpreting that. He understands me. Machi, tell the truth. You can understand English, can't you? What are you saying? Of course he can't. Must he continue this charade? It was alright. I'm glad you had a good time. I had a lot of food, so I'm a little bit stuffed. Had mashed potatoes, beans, a lot of ham, and a lot of garlic bread. And some cheesecake, too. At that point, I was like, I ate too much. It was good. Mr. Justice, Machi says this. I know the word English. Huh? Before coming to this country, he heard me speaking English. He learned a name for this language, that is all. What? Give me a break. Is that such an unusual word to understand? Do you not know Espanol, for instance? Well, yeah, but... I am sorry, but he is truly not understanding your language. Well, then explain this. How does he know the crime follow the lyrics? Have you always been such a suspicious-minded lad? It is simple, so simple it hardly requires an explanation. He read about it in a newspaper, The newspaper? The Borginian Daily Bugle. You can buy it in this country these days, you know? They have already begun to report about this case in our homeland. Oh, I was right. What is wrong, Mr. Justice? Your eyes, they are quite fierce all of a sudden. Machi is lying. Maybe it's time to show them proof that he's lying. It does not mention Lemuroyer's ballad. Article about the case. Well. I have here a Borginian newspaper, the Borginian Daily Bugle, as a matter of fact. Indeed, there is a feature article about the case. Could you read this for me, Machi? That's right. It doesn't mention the lyrics. What? What is this all about? I'm sorry, Machi. You couldn't have read about the lyrics in a Borginian newspaper. Hey, Captain Chips. Just in time. Turns out, Machi Machi knows English. Machi doesn't even need an interpreter. But, what's up? How was your, Thanksgivings? What does this mean? But I don't see how it's possible. I know. He must have heard the lyrics when the police were doing their questioning. Yes. Not possible. The subject of the lyrics was not brought up in police questioning. I read the full report myself. So, the lyrics weren't in the newspaper and the police didn't mention them. The only place you could have heard them was in this courtroom. The wrong month, dog? Huh? What's the wrong month? Easter. I said Easter, right? Did I say something else? In English, no less. The witness will explain himself. Oh, Thanksgiving? Oh. Yep, that's the food coma. I ate a lot of food today, so brain is on the fritz. The witness will explain himself. So did you. Oh yeah, food was good. Hello, Molly in chat. What's up? Hope you're doing good. Machi says, yes. It is true I read the newspaper, but this is not where I learned of the lyrics. I was mistaken. Now I remember. You remember? He says he heard the lyrics from me. What? What? Is this true, Lamiroyer? Oh yeah, guys. Does anyone remember, or does anyone know who did the killing in this case? Do you remember her? Is this true, Lamiroyer? Yes, I'm afraid I had forgotten it myself. And it looks like her forehead's been jumping to conclusions again. It seems so, yes. No, I was onto something. I know it. I can't let this chance slip away. Time is an issue today, Mr. Justice. Are you finished with the cross-examination? What are you going to do, Apollo? If I'm going to keep on cross-examining, I better have an angle of attack. Or else. My bracelet's still reacting. Your Honor, please allow me to continue. If you must, you must. Very well. Witness, I understand. It was I who explained the crime of the following song. The bracelet's still moving, huh? Well, I'm just going to do a little bit of a... Oh, crap. Alright, be right back. I forgot. I forgot. My memory is absolute poopy. Give me a second, guys. Give me a second. Activate perceive system. Okay. This guide is once again... Oh! There it is. It was I who explained the lyrics. But why is she, swallowing here? Why is she nervous? Gotcha! Lamiroyer, I'm currently cross-examining Machi. Why should you be uncertain? Me? Uncertain? Yes, you swallowed the very moment you told the court. It was I who explained. I see there's little point in trying to hide anything from you. I better save just in case. Save before each and everything. Lamiroyer, are you indeed protecting someone? That is not a question with a simple answer. To tell the truth, I do not believe it myself. Then allow me to answer for you. Lamiroyer, you're protecting... Machi himself. Lamiroyer, you are protecting Machi. That's why you lied and told us that you had explained how the crime followed the song. I don't fault you for trying to help, but this is not the way. Machi, I believe you didn't do it, really. I trust you. But you've lied to us twice. And now you have Lamiroyer lying on your behalf. This is going to work. You have to trust me too. Your two lies cover a simple truth. You understand English. You have to. Ah! It is not the way. Machi, this is not the way. Witness, is it true? Do you understand English? Yes, a little, only. Well. What? First he could see, and now he can talk. And you did not know about this, Lamberoyer? No, I did not. It is quite a surprise. How many secrets is this witness hiding? This is last. Truth is, I am actually in 40s, and not a little kid. Machi, could you tell us what really happened? No shooting. I did no shooting. So you were in the dressing room when I heard those 2 gunshots, correct? You weren't? Apparently the answer to that question isn't simple either. I was in dressing room, behind desk, manager, he on floor. Which would be after the shooting, right? Then there is voice. Voice? Or voices? Was it you and Emma, Apollo? So when Machi went into the dressing room, Mr. Latouche had already been shot. And then we came to the door. Panel high up, I take off, run away. So it was you who escaped through that air vent. As the prosecution has upheld all along, no less. The defendant has admitted to being at the scene. Might we take this as a confession? No, he's clearly denied that he did it. I know shooting. Manager on floor, already on floor. The victim had already been shot, you say? I find that hard to believe. The defendant understood the song lyrics. He was at the scene of the crime. This can only mean one thing. He is the shooter. Does the defendant have anything to say to this? He's clammed up, Apollo. Then let's ask Mr. Justice. Will you require any further testimony from the witness? Is that it? Is there nothing else I can get him to testify about? Wait, no, of course there is. What is this cocoon anyway? The cocoon, the silk, is a potent cure. A cure? Well, Machi, are you a smuggler? He won't tell me. That cocoon has to have something to do with this. Machi, please, tell us the truth for your own sake. No more speak, not to any of you. So much for your precious trust here, Forehead. Hey, you were the one who didn't believe him. Regardless, this brings us to an impasse. It does seem that the defense and defendant are at odds. I doubt we are likely to learn anything more of value should this continue. I see no other course but to declare a 5-minute recess. The defense will work things out with the defendant so that we might proceed. Oh, nope. Apollo Eustace. That's justice. Better learn how to say it if you ever want to get some. Believe, I know shooting. Machi claims Mr. Latouche was already down on the ground when he entered the room. Maybe it was a trap, and he walked right into it? Suddenly, I hear revolver. Close, very close. Then I hear voice. You heard gunshots? Yes, it's true. I hear revolver, but only sound. Wait, you're saying you went into the dressing room? And found Mr. Latouche already dead, and then you heard shots? If that's true... So, you were at the scene of the crime when you heard those shots? And you escaped through the air vent? I know. Huh? What do you know? I know if I open a vent, I can leave stage and backstage. So the vents went to both stage and the backstage area? Is that what he means? Hey, he's right. Look, Apollo. Huh? Yeah. But how did you know it was connected like that? Wait, I bet his father was the architect that designed the hall or something. I hear this from magician. Magician? Don't look at me. A magician, huh? Well, at least we're clear on one thing. Machi didn't shoot Mr. Latouche. Yeah, but what does that leave us with? We're supposed to say he went into the room and found the body and then he heard the shots? That's one sure going to go well in court. Nah. Apollo, you're his defense. You're supposed to believe whatever he says, even lies. That's what Daddy always told me. I'll just pretend you misheard him every time. So, what do we do? You're sure you won't testify, Machi? No talking, no. Well, it was worth a shot. That cocoon. I can't go home. Can't go home? I can't go home to Borginia. I do not want to go home. The penalty for taking a cocoon from Borginia is death. That's right. It's punishable by death. Of course, he's scared. Oh well, I guess we'll just have to try a different approach. That's the spirit, Apollo. So what's your plan? If Machi won't testify about it, we'll have to get someone else to testify. Someone else? I think we're out of time. Let's get back in there. Right. Court is now back in session. Mr. Justice, have you sorted things out with the defendant? Yes, Your Honor. We had a good talk. Very well. So will he testify? Your Honor, the defendant will not testify. What? Shame. And here I thought this was your big chance to turn the case around. Actually, it is. The defense would like to approach this case from a different angle, Your Honor. A different angle? If Machi won't testify, then I know who will. I would like to cross-examine the witness in this case, Lamiroyer. Lamiroyer? What are you up to now? I thought we determined yesterday that Lamiroyer's testimony was insubstantial. There's nothing you can... Lamiroyer was taken to the hospital yesterday with injuries. What happened? She was assaulted, Your Honor. Assaulted? Someone wanted Lamiroyer dead. Thankfully, she was able to save herself. What? I've heard no such report. Prosecutor Gavin. Why would anyone be out to kill Lamiroyer? Can you think of a reason? Well, think of how she is known in her country. A singer from overseas who doesn't speak English, yes? Yet someone tried to keep her mouth shut. Who could that have been? You don't think... I do. It was the same person who shot Mr. Latouche. The killer was afraid of her, afraid of what she might say. The defense believes that something was hidden in her testimony yesterday. Something that the killer doesn't want getting out. So, am I to understand that this is what you are saying? Namely, that there is a nugget of truth in Lamiroyer's testimony? A nugget we have yet to uncover? Exactly. If Lamiroyer was attacked, then says serious implications. Very well. There was some vague points in her testimony during yesterday's trial. Perhaps we did not inquire as deeply as we might have into some. The court will hear Lamiroyer's testimony once more. Lamiroyer, I must apologize. We must ask you to stand again and speak. You need not apologize. I know that Machi is innocent, and I will do all that I can until the court realizes this. Let's review your testimony from yesterday. You told us you heard 2 gunshots and the shooter's voice through the window, and that the voice belonged to Darian Crescent, yes? That is correct. At which point I proved she could not be correct. She couldn't have heard any of those things. The small window at the scene was closed and was found to be quite soundproof. You have nothing to say to that, Mr. Justice? I don't know exactly what yet, but I do know there's something there. There is, it seems, much you do not know. It is my duty to hear him out. Perhaps the witness would be so kind as to testify once more to the court. Of course, Your Honor. I was on my way from the stage to the backstage area. That's when I heard them, Mr. Latouche and the detective. I heard the faint sound of a gunshot and stopped, and then I heard another gunshot. There was the smell of gunpowder. I know I must tell someone, but I was in a hurry, so I kept moving past the small window. Pretty much the same as yesterday's testimony. I am sorry. I am not used to speaking much in this language. Perhaps my descriptions are lacking in some way. Yet everything I have said here is the truth. And it's my distinct displeasure to say this. What you have said to have happened is impossible. Do I have to repeat myself? Lamiroyer was attacked because of this testimony. What? Juicy? Apollo? You know, for a moment there, you were pretty cool. Maybe I do better when I don't try to think ahead. Very well, Mr. Justice. Perhaps you can coolly cross-examine the witness? Alright, here we go. I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. Is something wrong? I know I said hold it, but she's saying the same thing she said before. Mr. Justice? Sorry, it's nothing. Please continue with your testimony. Now I know what they mean about reckless youth these days. The one in red over there is a shining example here, Judge. You're the last person who should be pointing fingers, Mr. Rockstar. That's when I heard them, Mr. Latouche and the detective. Darian Crescent? I did not know his name at the time, but yes, it was him, the one who took the stand yesterday. How many times do I need to remind you that that's impossible? There is no way you could have heard him, because the window at the scene was closed. Is that why? Of course. Apollo, if we keep asking the same questions as yesterday, we won't get anywhere. She's right. Maybe there's a different angle I can try. Did you hear anything else? Happened to hear anything else at the time? Anything else? Anything else besides the victim and the shooter's conversation? Anything at all? That's quite the vague question. Other than the conversation, I heard a clock ticking and the two men breathing, footsteps. That is all. Nothing new there, as expected. Heck, I was hoping for a little more than that. Guess we should just carry on with the cross-examination. As you wish. Well, fudge. Let's go back and do the other choice real quick. Just to see what they say. Lamiroyer, do you by any chance remember what they were saying to each other? If so, please tell us. I have given it much reflection, but I was afraid of this. She doesn't remember. I only heard one phrase clearly. A whole phrase? You remember something that was said? Why didn't you say anything yesterday? Though my memory is clear, I was afraid to speak. You see, I do not understand what was said. This could be it. The clue I've been waiting for. Well, what did he say? It was the other man speaking, not Mr. Latouche. The shooter, then. Darian Crescent. Well, what did he say? What did he say? It's over. Press the switch. Now. Switch? And the shooter said this to the victim, Mr. Latouche? I thought it quite strange myself afterward. It is a mystery. What could it possibly mean? Mr. Justice, care to shed some light on this? Sure, I'd be delighted. It's, very, very vital. Perhaps you could add that to the testimony? Maybe, Apollo. The switch, huh? What's the switch? Maybe the Nintendo Switch? He might mean the Nintendo Switch, guys. Or maybe this Switch. Objection! Press the switch. There's only one key that can unlock the mystery of those words. Oh? Yet there was nothing at the scene that could be called a switch, save the lights. True, there wasn't a switch at the scene, but it just so happens I have a switch right here. That certainly does look like a switch, doesn't it? The problem is, this was found not at the scene of the crime, but on the stage. The stage? Where the concert was held, yes. This was found hidden there, on the stage. Wow! Hey, Stars over Hyrule. Objection, it's a Stars raid. How you doing? Hello, Trenith and Stars over Hyrule. How's everyone doing? Was your, was your stream good? We're just in the middle of a big case right now, and we're gonna do the solving of it. But thanks for raiding! You guys are awesome! Are you claiming that the voice Lamiroyer heard was of some commanding another to press the switch? I'm good. I'm doing great. I had a good Easter. I'm playing this game. How can things go wrong, huh? Nothing can go wrong. And thank you, Janet, for following. You're awesome. Enjoy the stream. Enjoy the future streams I have. And of course this one. It's a possibility. Oh, her forehead. I'd call that an impossibility. Why? It's hardly necessary for me to remind the court of the layout of the concert forum. The stage is quite far from Lamiroyer's dressing room. Not to mention that the Gaviners were in the middle of a concert on said stage. Ooh, Stardew. That's a fun game. I haven't played that one in years. I hope you are becoming the bestest farmers in all the worlds. We aren't known for being a quiet band. You could shout all you wanted and not be heard. The detective's voice was loud, but certainly not a shout. So too have her forehead's cries of possibility fallen far short of being heard. Sorry, but he wouldn't have needed to shout. Excuse me? You heard what I said, or do you need me to shout it out for you? It would have been quite simple to be heard on the stage from that dressing room. Oh wait, you like evidence, don't you? How about this? Using this, it would be easy to get a message to someone on stage from the dressing room. Do I have it? There it is. I think it's this. Prosecutor Gavin, perhaps you're familiar with this? What? Why that's... What is it? Is that some kind of newfangled phone they invented while I wasn't looking? This is the type of transmitter, a communications device. Communications device? From what I've heard that night, everyone on stage was wearing one of these. Isn't that right, Prosecutor Gavin? Yes, actually, they're for talking between band members. We all had one on. So you admit that if you were wearing one of these, talking from the backstage to the stage would be simple. True, but wait. Those send out an electronic signal. To avoid interference with the audio systems, their range is quite limited. Lamiroyer said it was about 30 feet, right? Look at this cross-section of the diagram of the concert forum. Ah! Exactly. The walk from the stage to the backstage seems far, but the direct distance is less than 30 feet. That can't be! So when Lamiroyer heard the shooter's voice, he could have been talking to someone on stage. Aha. Ha, you're claiming this is the switch in question? Why did it have to be on the stage at the time? It could be placed in a pocket and carried anywhere. Someone could have hid it on the stage after the fact. Hey, he's got a point. How do we know where it was when she heard the voice? When the shooter said press the switch? Well, I guess we don't. Unfortunate situation. I'm afraid that until we know where the switch was, there's little point in debating it. I was sure this was the way to go with this. What is the switch anyway? We don't even know that basic fact. Wait a second. I do know what this switch is, and if you follow that train of logic to its incredible conclusion... You started a new save we just finished a few days ago. Oh, we just started a new save, so we just finished the first few days. I gotcha. So you're just starting out then. Well, enjoy it. Enjoy Stardew. A fresh Stardew experience. What's up, Apollo? Apollo? We know about this switch, right? We know what this is. Yeah? Well, think of when it was used that day. Think of what happened. Well, Mr. Justice, we have no further information to share concerning the switch. Your Honor. Yes, Mr. Justice? I've been remiss in not telling the court this before. I know what this switch is. Well, it seems the defense is set upon linking the switch to the case. Save game, maybe? Let's see your evidence of the link. What evidence do you have to explain what this switch is? It's a switch that hooks up to this thing. Prosecutor Gavin, you remember this? That's that. The what? Is it another one of those newfangled phones? This is an igniter. What phone looks like this? Igniter? You mean it's like a lighter? Yes, actually. You aren't saying this switch is a remote? I am. This is a remote trigger for an igniter. What? Look, I'll show you. Yo! Mr. Justice, you will cease and desist from burning down this courtroom. Sorry, that was a bit more fire than I expected. And my whiskers had caught on fire. Prosecutor Gavin, let me repeat myself. This switch is a remote igniter trigger. Doesn't that suggest something to you? You're talking about what happened to me, aren't you? Ah, exactly. That night at the concert there was one unusual burst of flame. When your guitar caught fire in the middle of your performance. Wasn't that part of the stage show, though? Prosecutor Gavin was entirely unaware such a thing had been planned, and the guitar that burned was a valuable keepsake. That's right, he got it in Borginia from Lamiroyer. He said the sound was amazing before it burned, of course. Now it just kind of smokes. The better the guitar, the brighter it burns. Her forehead. Yes? Don't tell me you're trying to tie those two things together. Those being the shooter's voice heard by Lamiroyer, and the guitar so suddenly catching on fire. I am. It's really simple when you think about it. Mr. Latouche and the shooter were at the crime scene. The shooter was wearing a headset. He ordered someone on stage to press the switch. The switch was pressed, and the guitar caught fire. Well, that does seem to make sense, though something about it is bugging me. Can't quite put my finger on it. Really? It seems pretty simple to me. Her forehead. Don't destroy what little respect I have for you. I was expecting something a little more sensible. I guess I was wrong. What's this all about, Prosecutor Gavin? This simple story simply makes no sense. Think, that night my guitar caught fire, yes? The cause may have been this indeed. However, the guitar caught fire during the second set. That's right, of course. The guitar caught fire during Lamiroyer's song. Indeed, yet the shooting happened during the third set. The two are utterly unrelated. Yes, that must have been what was bugging me. The whole premise for this is faulty. See, his story makes no sense. Are you sure about that? What exactly do you mean, Mr. Justice? Maybe it's not the premise for my explanation of the switch that's at fault. Maybe it's our premise for the entire case so far. What premise is this, specifically? I'm glad you asked. I'm saying that maybe the killing didn't take place in the third act. What's this? But Detective Emma Skye heard shots and found the body. All of this happened in the third act. Gunshots rang out, and according to this testimony, Machi was in that dressing room at the time. Where are you going with this, Mr. Justice? Stay with me, Your Honor. He also told us in this testimony, namely that the victim had already been shot. We all heard gunshots, but no one saw the shooting. This is insane. Just before the shooting took place, the shooter was heard on his headset, telling someone to press the switch. The next moment, Prosecutor Gavin's guitar burst into flame. We know that a remote-triggered igniter was inside the guitar. From all these facts, we can draw only one conclusion. The crime did not take place during the third act, but during the ballad performance, the second act. What? Order, order, order! But that goes against the evidence. What does, Your Honor? This crime was carried out according to the lyrics of the song, yes? Hey, he's right. Look, the bullet is supposed to come after the fire. You're thinking about it the wrong way. Huh? Look, why would the shooter craft the events of the day to follow the lyrics anyway? It's an awful lot of trouble to go through, with little merit for the person doing it. Well, I'm sure whoever it was had some reason. Yes, they did. A reason that made it advantageous to follow the lyrics. You're saying the order was reversed on purpose? Reverse, Prosecutor Gavin? If the criminal followed the lyrics strictly, then yes. The shooting would have had to come after the guitar burst into flames. Yet her forehead has raised another possibility. He's claiming that the bullet came from not after, but just before the fire. Couldn't I put it better myself? We were only meant to think that the shooting came after the guitar burst into flame. That was the criminal's objective. The crime followed the lyrics to a point, but that was the ruse. Why else would the killer risk discovery by moving the body? That was the final touch to make us think he'd followed the lyrics the whole way. Order, order, order! That would explain this most unusual situation. It does. The killer changed the order of events to create himself an alibi. In other words, the killer was someone who had an alibi for the third set, but not the second. I was hoping it wouldn't come to this, but sadly, it has. Let me tell you why your little fairy tale makes no sense at all. Oh, it sounds good, I'll give you that. You've given us a reason why the killer bothered following the lyrics of my song, but I question your logic. For it's flawed from the very beginning. Flawed? Yes, a contradiction, her forehead, one I pointed out several times no less. At the time of the crime, the small window at the scene was closed. How could Lammy Royer have heard a voice through it? Oh, I know that you would like to divert our attention from this critical fact, but you're basing your entire line of reasoning on a false premise. Right. Lammy Royer's testimony is my entire case. That voice she heard, the shooter's voice. But what if she couldn't hear it, Apollo? Look, what do we have? A man saying press the switch, and near the crime scene we have a switch, which acts as a remote trigger for an igniter. And last but not least, Prosecutor Gavin's flaming guitar. It can all be coincidence, but how do I make it work? I see a more direct line of questioning is required when the crime scene was investigated immediately after the crime. That window was closed. Care to tell us how Lammy Royer heard the voice? A key point to be sure. Mr. Justice, can you explain this to the court? Okay, Justice, you've got one thing to prove and only one thing. Lammy Royer heard a voice, and she heard it during the second set. Think, how was Lammy Royer able to hear the voice? Oh, the window was open. She has divine hearing. She was somewhere else. When we investigated the scene, the window was closed. The shooter had no reason to close it. It hadn't been open either, meaning it was impossible to hear the voice through that window. It's good to hear you making sense again. For a moment, I was afraid you might be a Borginian too. That's racist? As I was saying, Lammy Royer could not hear the voice through the window, so there can only be one explanation. She heard the voice from another location entirely. What's this? You do amuse me so. And here I thought you and Good Sense were back on speaking terms. Now I'm afraid you and Good Sense are speaking two entirely different languages. Shall I interpret for you, her forehead? Lammy Royer clearly stated that she heard a voice through the small window, and there was only one small window at the scene. Are you sure? Think about it. Isn't there another small window at the scene? But there is? I know that look. He wants us to ask him. Very well, you claim Lammy Royer heard a voice from another location. Mr. Justice, show us where this location was. Lammy Royer heard the voice from here. There is a secret door behind the mirror. Or maybe it's up here. This is where Lammy Royer heard the voice from. But that's no small window. That's the air vent. What did she tell us? She said she's a Borginian, unfamiliar with their language. It's not a stretch to imagine she called this air vent a small window. Now you've done it. You've gone beyond ridiculous and into ludicrous. So Lammy Royer was up in the ventilation system listening to this man's voice? That's the only logical explanation, yes. Logical? I do not think this word means what you think it means, her forehead. Okay, what about it isn't logical? It hardly merits saying. Why would Lammy Royer be in the ventilation system? Hiding like a rat. No offense intended to her, of course. The explanation for that is simple, Prosecutor Gavin. Isn't it, Lammy Royer? You have been listening to our discussion here, yes? Yes. I admit it had me quite confused since yesterday. Yes, the small window was closed, but why should that mean I could not hear through it? I feared our prosecutor might himself need an interpreter. Urgh! The problem here is words. Lammy Royer, the small window through which you heard the voice. Was it up high on the ceiling of the room, not low on the wall? Yes, it was up on the ceiling. What? Order, order! I will have order! Witness, you will clarify this statement to the court. Are you in fact saying that you were up above the ceiling of the room? And that's where you heard the moment of the crime? Yes, in fact I was. I am sorry, I never imagined it would become such an important point. Yes, well, why the heck were you up there? I believe it's time for another testimony. I'm not sure I can't. I remind you that this is a murder trial. We will hear your testimony. Tell us why you witnessed the crime from above the ceiling of that room. Please. Well, looks like I'm on the right track. Yes, I was above the ceiling when I heard the voice. I had heard there was a small window there before. I was in the middle of my performance. I had no time to report what I had heard. As to why I was there, I cannot say. I am bound to secrecy on this matter. Bound to secrecy? In my line of work, one has many obligations to uphold. But you say you were in the middle of your performance. So this did happen during the second set. I did not witness the crime, you must understand. I only know what I heard. Yes, but you must tell us what you were doing in detail. That's what the cross-examination is for, yeah, Herr Forehead? Our mission in this court is to discern the truth. No obligation, no binding pact may hinder that mission. Very well. Mr. Justice, you may begin the cross-examination. What are you going to do, Apollo? I'm going to find out the truth. She was up above the ceiling for a reason. I just have to get it out of her. Yes, I was above the ceiling when I heard the voice. Above the ceiling? Could you be more specific? I cannot. Because you're bound to secrecy? Yes. To tell the truth, I was not supposed to even say I was above the ceiling. I dare not say more. Doesn't sound like I'll be able to coax it out of her just by asking. I'd heard there was a small window there before. By small window, you mean the air vent? I only remember that I needed to be careful of where I put my hands and feet. I cannot see light coming through the window, of course. The air vent grate could trip you up, certainly. So I was walking very carefully when I heard the gunshots. Startled, I crouched and listened. That is when I heard his voice come from the room. Darian's voice. I knew something terrible had happened yet. It was in the middle of my performance. I had no time to report what I had heard. So without a word, you just let the third set start? After the curtain closed for the second set, there was still much to do. You could have prevented the whole misunderstanding if you had told us sooner. Yes, perhaps I could have. I see little point in badgering the witness. What's done is done. But mine works differently when one is in the middle of a performance. Why, I've lost my voice in the middle of a show and kept on singing, completely unaware. Singing without a voice? Only all contradictions were so obvious. Only I could get Lemuroyer to talk. Pressuring her like this doesn't seem to be getting me anywhere. Maybe I can do it then. Alright, I'm gonna save real quick. This is probably wrong, but... is it this performance?
Objection!
Nope. Okay.
This is why guides exist, everyone. You're gonna lurk, Mafia Babe, alrighty. No problem. So give me a second. Give me a second. Oh, statement 4. As to why I was there, I cannot say. I was right, but it was the wrong statement.
Objection!
Oops. Your cat is ready. Your cat is ready for some fun, Stars Over Hyrule. Lemuroyer, truth be told, the reason for your presence above that ceiling is quite clear, especially when you consider what happened during your performance. What happened? Yes, it's all right here on this video. Where'd you go? She's ready for justice. Good. Yeah, guys. How'd she get from there to there? With her guitar. Yay! As we can see, Lemuroyer was clearly not on stage for her entire performance. Though it saddens me to be so realistic, Lemuroyer is incapable of actually vanishing, let alone teleportation. So the only explanation is that she was hidden from view, and during that time, she moved to the back of the forum. Apollo! What, Juicy? It's not nice to reveal a magician's secrets, and it's against the rules. But I'm a lawyer. I'm not supposed to be nice. This is all very fascinating, but how is it possible? There is only 20 seconds between when she disappears and then reappears. She couldn't have moved that fast. Is something wrong, Prosecutor Gavin? This was his concert, his show. He knows how the illusion was performed. Aha! He's just realizing his own oversight. Let's look at the cross-section diagram again. Here we can trace a route through the ceiling. It goes from the stage through the backstage to the rear of the forum. Recall Lemuroyer's testimony from yesterday. I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. There was something like a little window there. That's how I saw it. She went from the stage to the backstage exit? A perfect description of this route above the ceiling. Lemuroyer knew of this because of her part in the illusion, but she wasn't the only one who knew. What? Just now in the lobby, Machi told me something. I know if I open vent, I can leave stage and backstage. He said that? Oh, were you not informed, Prosecutor Gavin? I knew about the Vanishing Act, of course, yet I had no idea of the route that would be used. Why didn't that magician tell me? Magicians only reveal details of their acts on a need-to-know basis. They're the bread and butter of a magician's life, you know. Which is why he's bound Lemuroyer to secrecy. Well, Lemuroyer? I am impressed, Mr. Attorney. Machi was right about you. So, what does this mean? Are you saying you used this route above the ceiling? I did. Well, that's that, but I'm still a little confused. Why is that, Your Honor? As I said before... There was very little time between when she disappeared and when she reappeared. 20 seconds, tops. How could she do it so fast? Especially if she stopped to hear the shooter's voice. That's a good question. Can the witness explain this to the court? I cannot. Very well, Mr. Justice. Yes. It's all up to you. Do your thing. What thing, Your Honor? You need to explain how Lemuroyer was able to teleport like she did. Or I'm throwing your case out with the bathwater. Why do I get picked on? It's Lemuroyer who isn't going along with the program here. As I have stated before, I am not at liberty to speak of the illusion that night in detail. Then you'll just have to tell us what you can. We'll hear your testimony on this. Mr. Justice, it will be your job to wring the truth out of her. Yes, if you would, please. Right. I feel like a student before finals. Good luck, Apollo. I followed the route exactly as I was instructed. There's an emergency exit in the backstage where a stagehand waited. From there, one can enter the forum on the opposite side from the stage. The plan was for me to move there in 2 minutes. I was on my way when I heard the voice. 2 minutes, you say? The mystery deepens. I suppose it was too much to hope that the judge would come up with something. As does my curiosity. Take it away, Mr. Justice. Right, Your Honor. All I have to do is find the contradiction between what Lemuroyer is saying and what we can see plainly in the video. I figured it out already. I am a magician after all. Well, tell me. Not a chance. I can't reveal another magician's secrets. Come on. Hey, you're supposed to be on my side here. I followed the route exactly as I was instructed. There is an emergency exit in the backstage where a stagehand waited. From there, one can enter the forum on the opposite side of the stage. The plan was for me to move there in 2 minutes. 2 minutes? Yes, it can be done in 1 minute if you are running. Running? In that cramped, dark tunnel above the ceiling? Mr. Attorney, have you forgotten? Dark or lit, it makes no difference to me. That's true, but... So, you're saying that on the night of the concert, you made the trip in 2 minutes? Yes, though I nearly didn't make it in time. You see, I stopped halfway. Lammerroyer disappears on the video for 20 seconds, but she says she made the trip in 2 minutes. How? If you want my professional opinion, I'll bet the answer's right there in that video. Well, Mr. Justice, have you have some evidence for us? Something that can explain the discrepancy between the video and your testimony? Evidence explaining the discrepancy? Yes. There's one piece of evidence that explains the discrepancy between the video and testimony. I think it's this. Lammerroyer, do you happen to remember this brooch? Aha, the brooch. We saw that yesterday, did we not? It was found at the scene, Your Honor. And you're bringing this up now. Why? I thought we had already determined when that was dropped. So did I. But we hadn't. Take another look at the video. Look, there's a brooch. Cool, huh? Here, you can see she's wearing the brooch. So she is. Let's look a bit later. Ah-ha-ha. Well. What? The brooch, it's gone. What? Yes. The brooch disappeared in the short space of 20 seconds, and it takes a full minute to run from the stage to the backstage. Which means that there can only be one explanation. The Lammerroyer we see before the video, the Vanishing Act, and the Lammerroyer we see after are two different people. What? The brooch was found on the floor at the crime scene. Not just on the floor, but on the floor directly beneath the air vent. Lammerroyer, tell me, did you drop the brooch on your way from the stage to the backstage? And the very moment you witnessed the crime? Yes, I think I did. Order! Put Prosecutor Gavin! From your expression, I gather you had no idea this was the case, Sir Judge. I, of course, knew about it. What? Don't get me wrong, I wasn't hiding it, it just never occurred to me that the switch and the shooting took place at the same time. So, I was right? There was a switch? There was. Just before the stage's tower rose, Lammerroyer was replaced. While we're on the subject, just who was this replacement Lammerroyer? Why, the man behind the illusion. Valent Gramarye. It was Gramarye? That's quite the illusion, but I still don't get one thing. Yes? The switch happened before the tower rose, correct? So you weren't on the stage. That's right. But this, fake Lammerroyer is still singing? And she's pretty good. That's true. Come on, Apollo. That's an easy one. They were just playing a recording. The Gaviners aren't some kind of air guitar band, Fraulein. Fraulein, rather. You love how Prosecutor Gavin wears his, concert outfit into court? Yes, he does. He's very different from, Edgeworth and Von Karma and Franziska, huh? He just wears his own thing. You mean I'm wrong? When we play a live show, we play live, no recordings. Perhaps you can explain, Lammerroyer. Very well. Yes, do tell, and add it to your testimony. I had to keep singing, even while I moved. Huh. You were singing? Yes, Mr. Gavin expressed a dislike for recordings, so I used this. Wait, so you were singing the whole time? Even when you were crawling above the ceiling toward the backstage? Why should it matter where I sing, where everywhere I go is the same darkness? But if you were singing while you were talking... That's right, wouldn't the shooter and victim have heard? She was singing right over their heads after all. That is right. Are you sure? You'd have to be pretty hard of hearing to miss someone singing in the ceiling. Once again, we come back to the state of the scene of the crime. What state? Ack, I know what he means. That old speaker, Apollo. The speaker? That speaker was blaring at the time of the murder. Ah, that's for the monitoring the stage from this room. Monitoring? It pipes in the real-time feed from the stage microphones, useful for knowing when your set is coming up. Satisfied. That dressing room was fitted with a large speaker playing a direct feed from the stage. At my request, actually. So, Lemmy Royer singing in the ceiling sounded just like Lemmy Royer singing over the speaker. Ingenious, her voice was hidden by her voice. Ah, Lemmy Royer, I have just remembered something. Do tell. When I heard the noise, the gunshots, yes, it just startled me, so I stopped singing. What? I forgot the words I was supposed to sing. The song stopped? Thankfully, it was the very beginning of the second verse, so not many would notice. Forehead, that mixing board I lent you. Where is it? The mixing... Huh? The machine, Apollo. The one that breaks music into tracks. Oh, this. I completely forgotten about it. Are you ready for more of this, guys? Here we go. Let's take a listen. This is interesting. The big screen, the video there, I think was on the first screen on the DS, the top screen, and the keyboard stuff there was on the bottom screen. Huh. One pleasure. Didn't the lyrics say pleasure, pleasure? The song does stop there. It does? I must have missed it. Look at the lyric sheet at the top of the second verse. See where it says pleasure, pleasure? Now listen again. Ha ha. This is evident indeed. I believe we are guilty of making a terrible mistake. The crime didn't happen during the third set. It happened during the second, during Lemmy Royer's ballad. If that is true, then no one on stage during the second set could have been the shooter, which means that Darian Crescent could have done it. He wasn't on stage for the second set. Well, Prosecutor Gavin, fascinating. I don't believe I've ever seen a trial turned around quite so thoroughly. Yet one problem remains. What's that, Prosecutor Gavin? Her forehead's theory does have a certain kind of logic to it. Yet it is entirely based upon Lemmy Royer's testimony. Yes, is there a problem with this? Well, it's quite simple, though it pains me to say it. What if she is lying to protect the defendant? But you have no proof. All I'm saying is that the truth is as yet unclear, until we hear directly from the man himself. The man? You don't mean... Yes. Though he is a friend and a band member, Darian Crescent must take the stand. I see no other way. As someone with a new perspective on the case? As a suspect, to be frank. Finally, the rat's coming out of his hole. And I'm ready to catch him. Darian Crescent, get ready for justice. This is as good a time as any to pause for a brief recess. The prosecution will summon the witness. Have him here and ready by the time we begin. I'm the last man who needs to be reminded of what his duties are. Very well, court is adjourned for a 15-minute recess. Whew. I'll take this little bit of time, guys, to mention the Disney movie I watched last night. It's a movie where we head back into the jungle. It features a jungle boy with his gorilla friends and family, and one gorilla best friend voiced by Rosie O'Donnell. Then he turns into a man, meets a girl, and her father, and a angry gun person. If you don't know what that is, it's Tarzan. Another really, really good movie. The first movie of Volume 2. Yay. Really fun movie. I like the characters. Really powerful songs. Seriously, the songs in this movie are freaking incredible. I love them. With the best freaking soundtrack ever. I know, right? I saw a comment somewhere that, like, people were happy, and, like, even the makers were happy about, like, we're glad that we didn't have, like, Tarzan sing and any of the characters sing, aside from one song. It was just, like, a guy singing in the background. And boy, does that guy sing, huh? Holy crap. 2 worlds, 1 family. I know, remember when I was talking about having Disney songs stuck in my head? Now they're really stuck in my head. Trash in the Camp is an awesome song. Oh, it is. Don't get me wrong. Trash in the Camp is also great. Great soundtrack. Wish more movies would do that. Where is the guy that's sang those songs? What's he doing now? He needs to get back to Disney movie singing, making. And yes, Phil Collins didn't have to go that nuts for it, and he just did. He did. Didn't Tarzan have a second movie, by the way? It had a TV series, I remembered, and a movie that was the TV series. Were they good? I don't know. Apollo, I can't believe it. It really happened during the second act? And right in the middle of Lamont Royer's performance? Phil Collins, bro's in his late 70s and he's retired. Aw, man. Yeah, makes sense. Never saw the second movie, but the series wasn't bad. Wasn't bad. Wasn't the worst thing in the world. The reason why she was in that air vent, and that switch and the flaming guitar, when you link it all together, that's what you end up with. I knew you had what it took. Hey! Ah, Daddy! Mr. Wright, you believed in me? Not really. Huh? I just thought that'd make a cooler entrance than say, hiya. Why do I even bother hoping? Where have you been lately, Daddy? You haven't been coming to the office at all. Sorry about that, Trucy. I'm on a secret mission. Secret? You mean like you're undercover? Like Mr. Latouche, only shorter and not well dressed? Oh no, what if you're shot too, Daddy? Would I do a thing like that to you? Anyway, I'm off for a while again. Huh? You're leaving? Oh, one thing before I go. What? Good luck. Right. Is that all you came to say? I think you have the things pretty much under control. He'll get Machi Tobai off the hook, no doubt. Yeah, but you're after that detective, aren't you? Darian Crescend. It won't be easy proving he did it. Especially not under the current court system. The current court system? What did Prosecutor Gavin say during the trial? Your case is based on one fragile assumption, namely that our diva divine is telling the truth. But what about all the proof? The brooch and the switch? A piece of jewelry and a lyrical blunder. There are plenty of other ways to explain these things. The flaming guitar too. All because you lack definitive proof of their connection to the case. But if the sultry songstress is lying, your case melts like butter in a frying pan, leaving behind the faintly singed scent of failure. So what do I do? Like I said, good luck, and be aware that it will be impossible to prove his guilt by conventional methods. Oh, that reminds me. I have something to give you for our detective friend. Detective Sky? Emma? Let's see. This bag of snacks here was meant for me. Here it is. What are those, Daddy? They don't look like very good snacking material. They were found at the scene. Analysis of the fragments revealed traces of gunpowder. Gunpowder? Probably a firecracker or something similar, like the ones kids are into these days. These fragments were found under the sofa at the scene of the crime, actually. Under the sofa? Hey, Apollo? That's where we found that little device thingy. Right, this. Well, finally, some evidence that makes sense.
Cool.
First, actually getting a number of the police committed for wrongdoing. Oh, fact. A member of the police committed for wrongdoing, even when the evidence is almost entirely against them, is very nearly impossible. So, that's the toughness of this case then. And this will lead into, you know what? I'm not gonna say what this is gonna lead into. Well, here we go. That's all for me, I suppose. See you after the verdict. Maybe. Right. Every man has an igniter inside him. Excuse me? Find Darian Crescent's igniter and set it off. And he walked out the door just like a magician, normally. What does he want us to do? No conventional methods? What does that mean? I guess we just have to take his advice and hope it makes sense when the time comes. I guess. We're almost at the finish line. Hang in there, Trucy. And maybe hang in there, Machi as well. In real life, it doesn't usually go well. This is Phoenix Wright being pretty accurate to reality. Except for the fact that the killer would probably still get off for the murder. Well, I guess we'll see what happens, huh? Court is now back in session. Prosecutor Gavin, where is Detective Crescent? In the witness lounge, ready to be called at any time. Very well. Might I add, I don't believe any of this. Darian was the first detective I ever worked with. We stopped working together when he moved to Criminal Affairs, Division 3. But his guitar playing, it fires my imagination. That's nice, but it has nothing to do with the matter at hand. Correct. Oh, I know. Her forehead. Very well. Call the final witness to the stand. Detective Darian Crescent. Name and occupation, please. Darian Crescent, Detective Criminal Affairs, Division 3. That's the International Affairs Division, for those of you who didn't know. And I'm a guitarist for the Gaviners. Maybe you've heard of us. Do you fully understand the circumstances under which you stand before us today? Yeah, I understand, Your Honor. What I don't understand is how you let this happen, partner. You gave me your word I wouldn't be standing here. The situation's changed, Darian. And don't call me partner. So much for old friends. I see what you're doing, Darian. You're pressing the prosecution. Your Honor, if we could begin the trial. Yes, it's high time we did. Let's hear your testimony. You may begin with your response to Lemeroyer's testimony. If in fact you have anything to say about it. Oh, I got plenty to say. Lying must be a national pastime in Borginia. And wherever you're from, Mr. Justice, ha! Conventional methods are out of the window, huh? Here goes nothing. That diva's lying, plain and simple. She's got nothing to back up her story. In the first place, she never heard my voice. She forgot the words because she heard the gunshots, as if. Didn't Detective Emma Skye hear those gunshots during the third set anyway? The shooting took place when I was on stage, man. So you claim Lemeroyer's testimony was a lie? Hey, don't get me wrong, I dig what she's doing, trying to protect that kid. And she's got the court eating vague statements out of her hand just 'cause she's blind. Darian Crescent, the reason there is a shortage of hairspray. Exactly. How do you get it? How do you get your hair that, like that? Is that even possible in real life, guys? You go too far, Darian. Look, all I'm saying is, you got a reliable witness. Why not listen to the detective? Detective Skye? I see. Mr. Justice, you may begin the cross-examination. I didn't waste any time finding our weak spot. I can't do this without Lemeroyer's testimony alone. I have to find some other way to prove when the shooting took place. Don't think so. He'd have to grow his bangs out. His bangs out by a lot. Hair extensions, maybe? Anyway, she forgot the words because she heard the gunshots, as if. As if, guys, as if. Well, there's one way to find out.
Objection!
Remember this, Detective Crescend? The mixing board? What about it? It seems there was a clear proof left behind, right here in Lemuroyer's song. Her song? What exactly is this, device thingy? A new variety of gramophone, perhaps? Come on, we just used this. Don't get me started on gramophone. This device was used to record the performance part by part. Part? You move the sliders to adjust the volume. Each instrument is adjustable separately, Lemuroyer's voice included. Ho ho! But what does this prove? According to Lemuroyer's testimony, at the moment of the shooting, she forgot the words to the song. Ah. You intend to examine the recording at that moment, yeah? You might even hear those gunshots. Exactly. Ha! Ridiculous. Oh, he's sweating. His hair gel's going to, fall off. How are you supposed to hear gunshots back in that dressing room out on stage? Have you forgotten, Darien? We were all wearing these headsets. Oh. We were all deeply involved in our performance, but Lemuroyer's headset would have picked up what she heard all the same. Let's get to analyzing that recording right now. Lemuroyer stopped singing when she heard the shots fired. Find that spot and I'll find the gunshots. Okay. Play. Whoops. Let's turn these other things off. It's just her song singing. Listen closely, everyone. Whoa. Did you hear that? I think I heard that, guys. Did you hear that? Because I think I heard that. Your Honor, listen closely to this part. This is the track with Lemuroyer's vocals. Oh, did you miss it? Alright, you'll hear it again here. Pump up the volume. I did hear something, faintly there. Yes, but it sounded like a gunshot. What? This has to be some kind of mistake. Or the sound was coming over the headset along with her voice. Gavin, you're crazy, man, crazy. An upstanding prosecutor like you, even listening to this week's evidence? Man, you can barely hear that. How do you know it's a gun? Perhaps it is you who is hard of hearing, Darien. Let us poop. Oh, lol, his pomp. His pomp went flaccid for a second. That's awesome. Yeah, I love Darien's hairstyle. It sounds like a gunshot to me. Admit it, you lost, Detective Crescend. Okay, so what about the gunshots Detective Sky heard? You heard him too, didn't you? Don't even think about telling me you were mistaken. Were you thinking of telling him that, Mr. Justice? No, Your Honor, Detective Sky and I clearly heard what sounded like gunshots, but they weren't. What? And I have evidence that proves it. Then I think you'd best show it to the court. Let's see this evidence. If you would, Mr. Justice. Evidence showing what we really heard is this. Give me a second. Okay. The burned fragments I think I show here. Some things were found at the crime scene after yesterday's trial. What things? The first was this small device. That's the remote-triggered light igniter. Correct. And one more thing. What are those? The remains of something burnt? Not another guitar, I hope. Traces of gunpowder was found on these fragments. We have a report that it was something like a firecracker. Eh? How did Gavin know about this? What, you think Detective Skye works for you? I received the report this morning before coming here. That's when I made my decision, actually. What decision is this, Prosecutor Gavin? I registered Darien as a witness in today's trial, just in case. This raises another possibility. Those gunshot-like sounds during the third set could have been 2 firecrackers rigged to go off by remote control. You got an active imagination, don't you? But you shouldn't say every little thing that you think. Your explanation there seems a bit too convenient to me. How so? So, you're saying these firecrackers just happened to go off? Right when 2 witnesses came walking by? Ha! That's right. Darien was out on stage when it happened, Apollo. How would he know someone was backstage right then? If a firecracker goes off in the forest and there's no one there to hear it, you get my drift. Why go through the trouble, man? Erk! How do I explain this? You may not look it, but Darien is a gifted detective. Show any weakness, and he's sure to find it. You may not look it, partner? Gee, thanks, man. That reminds me, I happened to pass through that very hallway several times that day myself, and I saw something odd there just before the third set. Something odd? He is a stunt tank? That's the only answer. The Japanese like the pompadour? Yes. The Japanese do like the pompadours for some reason. Something odd? A headset, the kind all of the band and staff members were wearing. That's right. We picked this up in front of the door to that dressing room. What if that headset wasn't dropped but placed? And what if it was turned on? You could hear what was going on in that hallway, even if you were on stage. Feh. Whose side are you on, Gavin? Listen to me, Darien. There are no sides in a court of law. In any case, I believe a case has been made. Gunshots were heard during the second set, which means Lamoureuil's testimony was true. Grah! Order. So, she was telling the truth about what she heard? It was the other man speaking, not Mr. Latouche. Well, what did he say? It's over. Press the switch. Now! Just after that, there was a gunshot, and then the guitar caught on fire. Detective Crescend, you weren't on stage during the second set. You could have done it. But why did we only hear 1 gunshot on the recording? Weren't 2 bullets fired from this weapon? Lamoureuil was moving through the air vent, Your Honor. She must not have been close enough for her mic to catch the first shot, but then, as she passed over the dressing room... Bang! The gun fired again, and Mr. Latouche's life was taken. Well, Detective Crescend? When again I am reminded of something. Our performance that day. Your performance? Seeing that mixing board jogged my memory. You were there too, her forehead. What is with today? Problem after problem, Achtung. My hog won't start, my guitar case is busted, my guitar's been burnt to a crisp, and to top it all off, someone's dead. And then there was that performance just now. What was that all about? The part is off. Which one is that? Second guitar. It was you, Darien. I thought it strange at the time. How could you miss such a simple cue? I know you, and I know how you play. You're better than that. Yeah, well, You what? Prosecutor Gavin, what are you getting at? I'm talking about the murder weapon, Mr. Latouche's .45 caliber hand cannon. As we have learned, even the shooter doesn't go unscarred with a revolver that size. The kickback is enough to dislocate your shoulder if you are an amateur. Wait, you mean his playing was affected because he hurt himself shooting that revolver? Ha, you're forgetting something. Yes, Detective Crescend? I am a trained police officer, you know. I've had firearms training. Plenty of it. I'm no amateur. The standard sidearm issued to two police officers is a .38 caliber weapon. A much tamer beast, also the murder weapon, belonged to the victim, Mr. Latouche, which suggests that there was a struggle between the killer and victim. So, the killer might not have been holding the revolver correctly when he fired. Is that what you mean? The thought had occurred to me, yes. Well, does the witness have anything to say to this? Detective Crescend! What I want to ask is what Mr. Sleeves rolled up ready for action has to say. Hey you, attorney. Me? Exactly which piece of your evidence is decisive again? You got a little noise on a tape that could be anything, and you have an alleged guitar cue missed due to a .45 caliber kickback. I weep for this case, Gavin. I really do. You can line up your little weak pieces of evidence all you want. I didn't shoot that manager, and that's the obvious truth. The witness has a point. The defense's arguments, while persuasive, are not decisive. I believe we should hear what the witness has to say in response to the case so far. Your testimony, please, Detective Crescend. Tell us your reasons for why you couldn't have done it. Witness testimony. Yeah. Come on, why would I even want to kill that manager? You want a reason? Easy. I got no motive, man. This was the diva's first trip to this country, right? How could I possibly know her manager? If I didn't know him, why would I want to kill him? Give me a second. Okay. A simple reason indeed. Prosecutor Gavin, is it the case that Mr. Latouche had not been to our country before? According to our records, yes, not even once. I see. Very well. Mr. Justice, you may begin the cross-examination. Great. No need to find the motive. Come on, why would I even want to kill that manager? Want a reason? Easy. Got no motive, man. This was the Steva's first trip to the country, right? How could I possibly know her manager? How about because of this? Alright, thank you. The guide is lying. It's statement 4, it said. Statement 4. Present news article. Is there a news article 2 that I'm missing? Present newspaper article 2, the one with the building. It's statement 4. That's what I did though, right guys? Maybe details. Huh. Alright, sorry. Let me save one more time. Whoops. Actually, I don't even need to save. How could I know her manager? Maybe this one? Uh-oh. The guide is wrong, guys. What a shocker. What a shocker. There's a bad guide again. Unless I'm reading the wrong one. Round sample. Let's try round sample. Oh, it's worded weird. Good God, guys, this guide is all wrong. Why are there just no good guides in the world now? Present round sample and not replica. Your cat is disappointed in that guide? I'm glad that your cat is disappointed in that guide. Your Honor, take a look at this. What's that? Looks like candy. It's not. Don't lick it, please. Detective Crescend, ever seen this? Looks like a piece of candy. Hey, a piece of candy. Hey, a piece of candy. What it is evidence. Don't lick it before you try it. Specifically, this is a replica of a cocoon. It was found among the victim's belongings. A cocoon? Never seen one of that color. It is a variety only found in the Republic of Borginia. Ooh, a piece of candy. Nowhere else. Alright, what is this cocoon replica doing in my courtroom? Surely this has nothing to do with the motive for killing Mr. Latouche, does it? It does. Wait, I think it does. You don't sound so confident, man. A cocoon? Is this one of those silky cocoons? The kind that you can make, well, silk out of? Not this one. This cocoon makes a powerful curative. A curative? For what? Apparently, it is a most efficacious at treating a disease thought incurable. It is the only medicine of its kind. However, it is illegal to take one of these healing cocoons out of Borginia. Whatever for? If it's such a miracle cure, why not share it with the world? Yeah, that's what I've been wondering. What is it doing in my court? It was carried in, that's why. Yeah, good point. I looked into the matter at some length. Apparently, it isn't difficult at all to manufacture the remedy from the cocoon. Yet, if you change the process only slightly, you can easily make a large quantity of something else entirely. A deadly poison, in fact. What? So this could be made into a future, like, COVID thing. Cool. There was an incident several years ago where some of these got out onto the black market. It caused quite the commotion in the global community. Maybe not a COVID thing, but you know what I mean. It could be bad. A fart gun? It can make a fart gun. Oh no. Though the media was kept largely unaware. Intriguing. All this has led to a strict ban on the cocoon's export, one rigidly enforced by Interpol, among others. Interpol? Right. The victim, Romain Latouche, was an Interpol agent. Detective Crescend, you insist on referring to him as a manager, but that is misleading. Romain Latouche wasn't killed as a manager. He was killed as an undercover agent. So I was trying to smuggle this gumball into the country? That's what you're trying to say? I'm saying that could well be a motive for murder. Oh, so I was going to sell it on the black market, make myself a pretty penny? Ridiculous. I mean, that's totally unthinkable. Unthinkable, you say? Perhaps it's time for another testimony about the smuggling of Cocoon's business. So now we gotta do the thing. International Affairs got a memo about these cocoons. Interpol's all hot and bothered about them. Can't sell them on the black market. Too dangerous. Yeah, cocoon smuggling ain't exactly lucrative anymore. Man, I'm in International Affairs. I know the deal. Indeed. Interpol wanted these cocoons bad enough to send Mr. Latouche undercover. You kids think up the craziest things, but no way am I going to risk life and limb just to get my hands on some dirty cocoon money. Not the most noble of statements, but duly noted. According to reports, these cocoons top Interpol's list. Selling them to an underground organization would be risky. Very well. You may begin the cross-examination. This is the only motive I've got. He was up to something, and I'm going to find out what. He's too cocky. He is a detective. He knows that catching him is going to be really, really, really tough. Cocoon smuggling ain't exactly lucrative anymore. Oh, saving the game again? Alright, cool. Well, what lucrative newspaper article?
Objection!
Why not choose a less dangerous buyer then? I would. How clueless are you? Everyone in the market's dangerous. The second they found out I was a cop, I could kiss my keister goodbye. If I sell to a black market buyer, how about someone like this? That article, that's about the Chief Justice's... A deadly poison can be extracted from the cocoon, but so can a cure. Not a cure for just any disease, a cure for incuratus. The totally real disease that exists in the world. Incuratus? I've heard of that somewhere. You went to visit a victim of this disease this morning. Aha! Why, that's the disease the Chief Justice's son has. You weren't saying... Our witness is a detective who would have contact with the Chief Justice. You are saying the Chief Justice would never deal in contraband. Not even to save his own son's life. But even if the deal went through, why, it'd be an international scandal. That's Detective Crescend's insurance. If word ever got out, the one with his neck on the line would be the Chief Justice. Detective Crescend, is this true? First I'm a murderer, now I'm a smuggler. How many crimes are you trying to pin on me anyway? Distasteful as it is to think about it, if the Chief Justice were the buyer? Why, a seller couldn't hope for a better deal. A very cowardly seller. Don't let Sleeves over there trick you. I made a deal with the Chief Justice? Where's your proof? Well, oh yeah? And you're forgetting one other important thing. Incuratus can be cured. Which makes it sometimes curatus. Oh yeah, you're forgetting one other important thing. Do tell. Interpol isn't the only ones out there watching this. Borginian Customs barely sleeps. They're so worried about Cocoons getting out. So we were informed. Let's continue with the cross-examination. New statements will be added. Borginian Customs is very thorough. Everything and everyone gets checked. Cocoon possession will get you arrested on the spot and then sentenced to death. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey man, if there's a way to get Cocoons out of there, I'd sure like to know. There is a way to get a Cocoon out of here, guys. But how do you think? Maybe through a burned guitar? Or a normal guitar? Actually, there is one way. What? One way to get something out of the country, no checks. What is it? You become a prosecutor. A prosecutor? I don't believe it. Believe it, Prosecutor Gavin. What was it that you told me yesterday at your office? It was a beautiful instrument. It was played lovingly for many years, a guitar befitting a woman like Lamiroyer. How did it end up here? I mentioned how much I enjoyed playing it that night, and she made a present of it. So this guitar is from Borginia? That is it, that it is. You cannot carry it on the plane. Changes in air pressure, and humidity would ruin the wood. So we vacuum packed it in Lamiroyer's studio. I used a special shipping service available to me for transporting evidence. They brought it right up to my office for me. Pristine and untouched. Did I get that right, Prosecutor Gavin? Untouched? Quite. The guitar was wrapped in several sheets and vacuum packed in Borginia. The pack was untouched until the day of the concert. Are you saying that guitar was... With Cocoons this small, it would have been very easy to use your guitar as a mule to smuggle a Cocoon out of Borginia. What? Which reminds me, Prosecutor Gavin, that guitar had some work done on it recently, right? Work? Good memory, her forehead. Oh, you know how guitars have a round hole in the front? It is called, the sound hole. Well, they found something attached to the wood just inside the hole. A broken device of some sort. A broken device? Yes, this, in fact. An igniter. Exactly. Consider this, if you will. What if the igniter wasn't the only thing that was attached inside your guitar? You mean... He means this, of course. There was a way to get a Cocoon out of the country. They could use Picky Prosecutor Gavin's privileged guitar as a mule. And who better to do that than someone with access, like a member of the band? Yark! Order! So this igniter was placed in there for a clear reason, it seems. It was a safety precaution. A precaution? Her forehead. At last it all comes together. Every strange thing that has happened that day. Care to review? Maestro, the gentle sound of Lamiroyer's ballad if you... Okay. You see him as a stunting, and you can't unsee it. That's funny. What a guy this guy is, huh? First, my keys were stolen, a harmless misdemeanor, which forced me to break the lock on my guitar case. The key was stolen to retrieve the Cocoon from the guitar. I see. But things didn't go so well. The smuggler wasn't counting on the guitar being wrapped. Only a member of the band could get near that case. Unwrapping the guitar would raise too many suspicions. Then the concert began. Right about this time, a very large problem presented itself to the smuggler. What's that? Mr. Latouche. Mr. Latouche, an undercover agent, was onto something. He would have known about the guitar. He'd only have to check the shipping records. So, Mr. Latouche tried to examine the guitar himself. If the cocoon was confiscated then, the gig would be up. The only thing left for the smuggler to do was to get rid of the whole lot. It's over. Press the switch. Now. The guitar burst into flames, and the cocoon was lost. And then, Mr. Latouche died, with Lemuroyer there to witness it. There's your case. Did we do it? Brilliant, man. Detective Crescend? I gotta know. You make all that up on the fly?
I gotta know. Can you
For a made-up story, it makes a great deal of sense, Darien. Feh. Republic of Borginia? Sorry, man, but I haven't even been there. True, you haven't. Ha! Let's see you make up a story for that, kid. How'd I hide the cocoon in the first place, huh? It's not so hard to imagine. You had help, or Borginian accomplice. That's all. That you had an accomplice was clear from the start. The voice Lemuroyer heard proves it. It's over. Press the switch. Now. You made this transmission from backstage, while your co-conspirator was on stage. But who was it? This is it, the coup de grace. And for once I know what I'm doing. There's only one person who could have helped him. Let's hear what Mr. Justice has to say then. But be warned, with a great accusation comes a great responsibility. Make up your answer on the fly, as it were, and you'll be harshly penalized. Are you ready, Mr. Justice? Yes, Uncle Ben. Who was the smuggler's accomplice? Guys, it was none other than Valent Gremory. No, I wish it was. Nope, it's Machi. There's only one person who meets all the requirements of the accomplice, and that person is the defendant, Machi Tobai. But Mr. Justice, he's your client. A defense attorney accusing his client? That's a new one. Oof, yeah. I assure you, no one is more unhappy about this than I, but I am here to defend him in the murder of Mr. Latouche, and I stand by my statement earlier that he is innocent of that particular crime. Indeed, the defendant is Borginian. He does meet the basic requirements to be the accomplice. But what if it was, in fact, Lemuroyer? It couldn't have been. Well, you seem sure of yourself. The reason is electronic signals, Your Honor. Electronic signals? Recall that this remote only works to a range of 30 feet. Beyond that, it's useless. Yes, that's true. Now, think back to the testimony. When the shooter made his transmission, Lemuroyer was in the air vent, right above the dressing room where the shooters stood. Let's look at the stage diagram. This is the area that the remote could reach from the air vent. Well, looking at this, it seems that Lemuroyer could still have done the deed. No. When the shooter made the transmission, the stage was slightly different than shown here. It was in the middle of the guitar serenade. Part of the stage was raised. Prosecutor Gavin and the Lemuroyer stand-in were in the air. They were on a tower which happens to be 15 feet tall. In other words, the remote couldn't have worked from Lemuroyer's position in the air vent. Ah! Well, Detective Crescend, what do you say to that? Your Honor? Yes, Detective? Could we see the video where Gavin's guitar burns? Just one more time. Well, I don't see why not. What? Don't tell me he has a way out of this.
Pleasure.
So that's Valent right there. That's weird. Too bad, so sad, punk. Punk? First you were Sleeves, then Kid, and now Punk? You're losing rank fast, Apollo. What exactly were we supposed to see in this video? The problem isn't what we see, correct, Darien? Right, it's what you hear. We are musicians, after all. Care to explain for us non-musicians? Sure thing, punk. Let me get you your yarn straight first. You're saying I ordered the wee pianist to set off that igniter? That's right. Yes? Well, in order to do that, you'd have to press a switch. Am I right? Okay. Well, take another listen. Pay attention to the piano. Piano? What seems to be the problem there? The piano sounded just fine. And that's the problem, man. You still don't get it. Yeah. How's he supposed to hit that switch if he's playing? You got Miss Diva, the guitar, the bass, the piano, and the drums. Only one with her hands free was the diva, Amy Royer. But according to you, she couldn't have been the accomplice, could she? Your accomplice would have had a hard time helping out if they couldn't even press a switch. Arg! The piano plays non-stop. Well, guess we're screwed, guys. He couldn't have pressed that switch. Well, Mr. Justice, the piano does seem to be playing when the guitar catches fire. Well, it's okay. We all make mistakes sometimes. But Apollo, were you wrong? I can't be wrong. Everything makes perfect sense. How could it all just... Strange. What's strange? No, it's just... something's odd about the performance there. Odd? Mr. Justice, if Machi Tobai didn't press that switch, then he cannot be the accomplice you claim he is. But everything points to it. Every fact says he's the accomplice. You got the facts wrong, man. Here's some facts for you. Gavin's guitar is on fire, but the pianist didn't press that switch. In other words, your story is full of holes. Mr. Justice, let's hear your final opinion on this matter now. Was the defendant Machi Tobai the accomplice? Your answer will reflect on everything you've said here. Give it some thought. Apollo, if Machi's not the accomplice, then our whole case is ruined. I know that. It has to be him. He was the only one who could have helped the smuggler. And he had to have pressed that switch. Well, you'd better find a way to prove it. Arg. What do I do? What do I do? There has to be something that doesn't fit. Something odd. Something odd. Wait a second. What? You thought of something? What was Gavin saying just now? Strange. What's strange? No, it's just... something's odd about the performance there. It's not much to go on, but it's all I've got. What exactly did he hear that was odd? Have you come up with something, Mr. Justice? I remind you that everything rests on this. Can you prove Machi Tobai pressed the switch? Let's hear your final answer. Can you prove that Machi Tobai pressed that switch? I can prove it. I'll be honest, I'm not following the logic on this one. Well, hold that thought. Let's get you back on track here. I don't know if you call this proof per se, but I can prove it was possible. Then as prosecutor, it falls on me to ask you to show us evidence supporting this. Her forehead, you're sure about this? Ha! Accept it. There's no evidence, man. Let's see your evidence, Mr. Justice. And what do you base your claim that the defendant pressed that switch? He pressed it using the mixing board. The basis of my claim is music, Your Honor. The case of the missing plot. The case of the this is confusing. Music? What about music? Let's listen to the piano part around the time when the switch was to be pressed. Right before the guitar burst into flame. I hear a piano being played. But doesn't it sound kind of simple? Simple? Ah, I think I know what he's suggesting. You think Machi could have played that part with one hand. One hand? He only needed one hand to press that switch. He could play the piano with the other. Ha! What, you're kind of piano savant? Actually, no. And what do you know? You can't play a part like that with one hand. Irk. Maybe. I don't know what I'm talking about here. Wait, I know. Hey, Chusey. Yeah? You got something? Mr. Wright, your father, he's a pianist. Could he? Oh, Daddy? He couldn't play a part like that even if he had 3 hands. So sorry. So sad for you. No, not really. Huh? That was just the easy way to prove it. There's always the hard way. Man, how are you going to prove whether he played with one hand or 2? You can't. I admit it will be rather difficult to prove, but it's highly likely he was playing with one hand. How do you know that? The clue is what Prosecutor Gavin described as sounding odd. What sounded odd? I'll bet we can tell it by listening to a certain part of the song. No, no way. Well, it does seem we've come to the moment of truth at last. Let's hear what Mr. Justice has to say for himself. Show us the part that proves the defendant was playing with one hand, right before the guitar burst into flame. Machi was definitely playing one-handed just before the guitar caught fire, and one section of the song proves it. Alright. It was this one, right? Play. Okay. That one sounded strange to me, this one, compared to the other two. It's in the second part. Little fun fact, it's actually... hang on a minute. It's actually... I should save it real quick. Oh, I can't save it. Screw you, game. Okay, boom. That's the section, I don't hear it. What's your opinion as an artist, Prosecutor Gavin? It's a beautiful song, and the lyrics are outstanding. I'll take that to mean there isn't a problem with this section at all. Wait, so what was the odd thing that Gavin heard? Alright, it's definitely the second one then. I love the way this guide, says this part. In the sound mixer, press on the first bar above the rewind button. And rewind is spelled wrong also. Should be under 1 and 2. And present that. So good guide. Very, very good guide. Your Honor, if you give me one more chance, I think I can find it. Don't have a choice. Very well. You claim the defendant was playing with one hand when the switch was pressed. Shows the part that proves it. Yeah. Good lord, people cannot write guides anymore. Nope. No, they cannot. It's, this one, by the way. That's the section? I'm afraid I don't hear it. What's your opinion as an artist? Okay. Okay. Is this guide... Ow! Proof he played one-handed. Like right there. Okay. This guide is stupid, guys. This guide is so stupid. The first bar above the rewind button. I'm just gonna do every single one, because screw it. Prosecutor Gavin, I'm sure you've realized by now just what it was that sounded odd to you. As I'm sure you've realized it yourself, Her Forehead, why couldn't the guy just say the first one? The first button? He tripped up notes? Probably. No, it's the first one, apparently. I'm sure you've realized it yourself, Her Forehead. Realize what? I'll demonstrate. Let's listen to the part in question again, shall we? Pay particular attention to but a fleeting melody phrase. It's so stupid. Yeah, this guide is an L, guys. Man, how many times do we have to listen to the same thing? You're right, enough of that. Let's listen to another section, shall we? Another section? The guitar burst into flame at the end of the second verse. Let's listen to the same spot in the first verse. Pay attention to the "Oh, that night in your embrace." L. Big L. Play verse 2 again. L God makers, brah. There, did you hear that? They feel the same, true, but they're clearly very different. What? Well put, Your Honor. The phrase in verse 2 is quite simple, but the same phrase in verse 1 has high and low notes. You'd have to use 2 hands to play that for sure. What's that prove? I would think you'd know that by now. This is why I hate dealing with amateurs, man. So the 2 verses at different arrangements happens all the time. Not this time, Darian. There's no point in changing an arrangement if you can't hear it clearly, and that wasn't the point. I had him play specifically so that the piano would stay in the background. Oh, that was what I noticed. Why should the same phrase sound slightly different, I asked myself. Now ask yourself why Machi changed how he played, and there's only one answer. He needed a free hand in order to press the switch. Ark! Order! I believe this ties all the facts together. Well, Prosecutor Gavin? Yes, quite. Though, personally, this comes as a terrible disappointment. Heh. What? No comeback? I can't believe it. I finally did it. Very well. Barring an objection from the prosecution, I will now state the court's opinion on this matter. Heh. Good show, Sleeves. No, great show. It's not over? I don't like it when he looks so happy. You tell him, Gavin. Tell him what's so disappointing. Personally, I'm terribly disappointed. In you, Her Forehead. Huh? Me? Yes, don't get me wrong. Your case is solid. The facts all check out, but even now, you have yet to show us a single piece of decisive evidence. Yeah, but the facts, anyone can see it was him. Unfortunately, anyone does not include the law. I'm afraid your case doesn't cut it. But, 1,000 facts might point toward the same conclusion, but without decisive evidence, it's not proof. That's the rule under our current legal system. I don't believe it. It does not seem as though the defense has any more evidence to present. Oh, I think if he did, we'd already have seen it a long ways back. It is unfortunate, but at present, this court is unable to acknowledge your accusation. What? The truth is staring us all right in the face. Why can't they see it? What's the point of a legal system that protects criminals? Apollo, remember what Daddy said. Won't be easy to proving he did it, especially not under the current court system. So what do? Like I said, good luck, and be aware that it will be impossible to prove his luck by guilt by conventional methods. Every man has an igniter inside him. Find Darian Crescen's an igniter and set it off. I wonder what he meant by every man's igniter. I think he just meant a weak spot, no? The kind of thing that a single spark could turn into a wildfire of emotion. Won't be able to press him further by conventional means. I've got to find a weak spot in this guy. Something fatal. So, can I get back to work now or what? It may look like I got a lot of time on my hands, but I got no more time to play pretend with this deadweight attorney. Well, Mr. Justice, we've come this far without decisive evidence. This witness won't be coming back to the stand once we let him go. Every man has an igniter. Huh? Didn't you say the better the guitar, the brighter it burns, Prosecutor Gavin? Ah, yes, good guitars are kept dry is why. That provides the best sound. Even a small spark could cause irreparable damage. Your plan has an igniter in it too, Detective. It was there from the very beginning. What? Fighting time, Justice. You blow this one, he'll be out of your hands for good. Go for it, Apollo. What? This igniter's supposed to come burn me up? That's almost poetic there, Mr. Attorney. All the better. I'm rather fond of poetry, and I intend to hear this one through to the very end. Her forehead. You are accusing this man, Darien Crescend, of 2 crimes. The murder of Mr. Latouche and the smuggling of a Borginian cocoon. This is your last chance to prove your case. This trial has already run on for far too long. Mr. Justice, this will be my last warning. The moment this igniter of yours turns out to be a dud is the moment this cross-examination ends. Understood? Yes, Your Honor. Then let's have it. Show us the basis for these accusations against Darien Crescend. Okay, this is really my last chance. The key that will take apart Darien Crescend's plan is... It is... actually... a witness. Your igniter isn't a piece of evidence. Huh? So what is? It's true that I couldn't show decisive evidence, but perhaps what I needed to prove my case was something else. You mean, a witness? Proving his guilt is a tall order, but I've got just the person to do it. Very well, Mr. Justice. Who is the person who can prove Darien Crescend's guilt? Who else but... Latouche! Lenaroyer! No, it's Machi once again. The one person who can prove Darien Crescend's guilt is the defendant, Machi Tobai. Your client again? Machi Tobai was an accomplice to the cocoon smuggling plot. Without him, Darien Crescend could not have gotten the cocoon. Furthermore, he can easily prove that the one who plotted to smuggle that cocoon is the real criminal in this case. How so? It would require just one of the very cocoons Mr. Latouche was looking for. With the cooperation of the Republic of Borginia, we could burn a cocoon. The burnt cocoon would leave a particular residue. A residue we would no doubt also find inside the burnt-out guitar. Aha, very scientific of you. Thus, if Machi Tobai acknowledges his agreement with Darien Crescend concerning the attempted smuggling of a Borginian cocoon, the case is solved. Heh? Darien's laughing again. Your unrelenting passion is remarkable. You really want to get me, don't you? Too bad you'll never be able to. Why not? A little key tickler won't acknowledge anything, especially not anything to do with cocoon smuggling. What's this all about? Taking a cocoon out of the country means death, by Borginian law. Ah! Yeah, see? If our pianist really was a smuggler, then testifying about it would be suicide. Believe me, he's not talking. But you're wrong, Detective Crescend. What? It's the other way around. If Machi doesn't admit to smuggling here, he's in deep trouble. Huh? How? Look, if Machi admits to smuggling here, then he'll be tried in our courts by our laws. You don't get the death penalty for smuggling in our country. Ah! The victim in this case was an undercover Interpol agent. I'm sure that news has already reached Borginia, and they'll likely broadcast our dealings in court today, including the part about the Borginian cocoon. Yeah, but... But if Machi doesn't admit to smuggling now, he'll eventually be picked up by the Borginian police, and it's not like he's in any danger in our court. We're not going to find him guilty of murder here. Not now. Yeah, but you can't do this. You can't accuse me. Maybe the law doesn't allow it. Who's going to think you're really innocent after hearing this trial? The same goes for Machi Tobai. Erk! The cocoon smuggling, your entire plan? Machi Tobai knows everything. There's only one way out of it for him, and that's to acknowledge his own crime. The crime of cocoon smuggling! Heh. Don't worry there. I'll get you out of the country. I'll set you up someplace. A hidden mansion? Real nice. You want a house made out of cookies? Or no, a house made out of pianos? Come on. Please, don't talk! Cool. Darien, I consider that my last session with you. We rocked. I'm guessing we can treat that outburst as a confession. Heh. Uh-oh, he's laughing again. There's a kind of sick desperation in it now, though. Whew. Well, have you been listening to today's trial? Yes. And you'll talk? You'll tell this court everything. I didn't want it to turn out this way, but I'm not the kind of lawyer that can overlook a crime. Today's trial was all for your benefit, you know. I see no reason why you should hesitate now. I knew, from beginning, I knew. Goodness, I know, right? Wasn't that a crazy trial? Machi. Situation I cannot explain, but money I needed. Very much money. Today's trial raises a delicate issue with our legal system. The only thing definite in a court of law is evidence. This is the golden rule. However, are you winning? I think I just did, Hellfire Skyrim. It has become apparent that not all things can be tried by this standard. Should another case of this sort surface, we may have to consider an alternate system by which to administer justice. Anyway, Mr. Machi Tobai. Yes, I promise you will receive a fair trial by the laws of our country. And with regards to the current charges for the murder of Latos, Mr. Latus, this court is prepared to announce a verdict. We can see his eyes. I thank you. I only lie, but you see truth. You find truth. That's our job. Very well. This court finds the defendant, Machi Tobai, not guilty. Woo! Kill. Court is adjourned. Alright, guys. Quick question for everyone. On the Kill This Man meter, where is Darien Crescent located? Where would he be at? I wonder what'll happen to Machi. Well, he did smuggle a cocoon out of Borginia. I guess there'll be another trial here. All's well that ends well. Daddy! I owe you both my thanks. I'm a Royer? He eat like a football. I'll be honest, you don't quite get his motive. He wanted to blackmail the Chief Justice and use a little kid to, do it to. Cause a scandal or just blackmail or something like that. Lemmy Royer? My, is something wrong? I'm sorry. Machi was your partner on stage, your friend. Didn't Machi say he's older? He's 14. Machi's 14. Which is still pretty dang young. Yes, I thought of him as my own son. Even now I do. Yet, something got a hold of him. Something evil. I see that. And he must pay for what he has done. Is that not how it should be? I'm so sorry. Do not be sorry. You have given me courage. Courage? I am considering an eye operation. It was my suggestion, actually. You mean you'll be able to see again? It's funny. I have always been afraid of the light. Light seems so harsh, so unforgiving. According to the doctor, Lemmy Royer lost sight due to some kind of accident. An accident? As you know, I suffer from amnesia. I feared that, if I could see, perhaps it would open my eyes to the truth I have been running from. I was scared. You know what changed your mind? Hearing your defense in there today. She could feel your gaze, unwavering, always looking straight at the truth. If the light returns to my eyes, I think I will take up painting. Painting? That's right, she's the landscape painter in sound, after all. I will paint the two of you, I promise.
Woohoo! I can't wait, Lemuroya!
I owe you my thanks too, Apollo. Thanks, Mr. Wright? But for what? You reminded me I need to hurry things along. On my secret mission, that is. Right, your secret mission. Apollo, Trucy, I hope that we will meet again someday soon. You bet. Me too. And so, like a ballad, the trial flowed on and on until it came to an end. Thanks to the trial, the guitar serenade was a huge hit. Prosecutor Gavin's even more dazzling to look at now. But there's something I want to say about to that guy. Next time you write a ballad, have them catch the killer at the end.
Woo!
And so, guys, we move on to the final case. Turnabout Succession, it's called. Let's do it. You're ready? It's gonna be great. And that is the whole truth of this case. Mason System. Oh. Oh. In order to understand it myself, I had to know the story of these last 7 long years. Oh. Nothing happens by chance. All is connected. Oh? And now, you stand ready to begin the final chapter of this story. Will the defendant be found guilty or innocent? The decision is yours. Oh. Oh. Well now. Hey Apollo, look, on TV. Look. Yeah, I'm kinda busy. Whoa, look at that. He's the last Gramarye, alright? Amazing. Apollo, you should be watching this. Ow, ow, ow. What? I was writing about our last case in my journal. Lawyers are supposed to write things in records, Apollo, not journals. And why now? The case was 3 months ago. It's a long story. I did a lot, you know. Want to vacuum pack the feel of the moment for later. Right now I'm wowing the crowd by figuring out how Lemuroya disappeared. That's right, Uncle Valiant did that illusion too. But you're missing him on TV right now. I was just getting to the good part. Suppose I should watch a little TV with her. After all, her father's expecting me to look after her while he's away. What you are now seeing is a rehearsal for the greatest magic show on Earth. Happening right here at our very own Sunshine Coliseum. The Sunshine Coliseum? Hey, that's where the Gaviners concert was. Only 3 more days until miracles happen here, right before your unbelieving eyes. The legendary troupe Gramarye is performing for the first time in 7 years. It's going to be great. I'm so there. You and Daddy are coming too. The legendary Gramaryes. If Trucy's real father were still alive, he'd be on that stage performing miracles. I've got the tickets and everything. Here's yours, Apollo.
Squeak!
Ah, you are here. Working hard or hardly working. Hey, how have you been?
Hi there, stranger.
Not exactly the kind of greeting I'd want to hear from my own kid, though he has been gone a long time. How goes it, Juicy? Here, I got a present for you. Yay, pudding! I love pudding. Oh, it's farm fresh. Not just one pudding, but 3 whole cups. I'll have to pace myself. Well, I'm beat. That's right, Daddy. You're on a top secret mission. You've got to take it easy with the secrets, you know. How right you are. So you still can't tell us what your mission is? Maybe it is time. It has something to do with you, anyway. Huh? With me? Oh, maybe you're getting a top secret mission too? Maybe you can be one of those guys. A spy. Can I just be a defense attorney? To be honest, telling you about the mission was my whole reason for coming here today. What? Tell me. You've heard of the Juris system, yes? The Juris system? That's right, the new legal system everyone's talking about. Have you heard of it, Apollo? Huh? Maybe? Maybe not as many people are talking about it as I thought. The Juris system, huh? First things first. The plant, it intrigues you, doesn't it? Not really. It's just the one thing in here that doesn't have some secret function. No secrets, but lots of memories. And a name too. Want to hear it? Not really. His name is Charlie, if you were curious. Really, I wasn't. Alright, let's see what he has to say now. So, Daddy, what's this Juris system thing? Well, Juicy, do you know what a jury is? I've heard of it. Isn't that those people who sit in court in those old courtroom dramas? The ones who get to decide if a guy's innocent or guilty? Do you know, Apollo? Only from TV. It's 12 people, chosen from the community, right? Well, they're thinking about reviving that system. That's been a thing, guys. We haven't had a jury this whole series. Well, they're calling the new system the Juris system. No more doing whatever you like, Your Honor. Not quite that harsh. The jurists cooperate with the judge. They help analyze the case from different angles. And there will be only 6 of them under the current proposal, right? Wow, you know your stuff, Apollo. Their findings directly affect the verdict. Hopefully, people will start taking the courts a little more seriously now. Japan does not, in fact, have a jury system. Oh, really? Well, I guess they will now. Hang on a minute. Okay, I feel like on some kind of educational TV show, starring Dr. Wright. Dr. Wright, his assistant Juicy, and Mascot Apollo, the perfect team. Mascot? Hey. So, what is the secret mission? The Juris system is my mission, more or less. Anyway, keep in mind that the new ideas like this system are always risky, Apollo. Too true. Everyone's got an opinion, and they just talk and nothing gets decided. Kind of like you, Apollo. I'm not that bad, am I? In any case, we're going to give it a shot. A test, if you will. I don't like tests. Well, take a case as a sample and choose 6 jurists. I'll be the one helping with that process, incidentally. Helping? How? Well, for one, I'll be chair of the Juris System Simulated Court Committee. The chair constructs the ideal situation, choosing the case, the jurist candidates, even the judge in the courtroom. Wow, it's like you have a real job. I was never that good at the piano, to be honest. Once a lawyer, always a lawyer, I guess. The trial's tomorrow, by the way. Don't miss it. The trial simulation, that is. A simulation, huh? Sounds interesting. So, what kind of case is the trial simulation about? Well, since it's the first run-through of a new system, I wanted something simple. Good thinking. No sense wearing yourself out on something too serious. True. This case is a murder. That's not simple at all. By simple, did you mean that the defendant is... guilty? Yes, most likely. So, good luck, Apollo. With what? With the trial tomorrow. You're defending, of course. Recall that I said it had something to do with you. Go for it, Apollo. It's just a test case anyway, no sweat. Yeah, but there's still a verdict to be decided. And a potential seriously sentenced, the most serious in the worst case scenario. Ack, you mean the verdict's for real? That's not a test trial, that's a real trial. All the forms have been filed, there's no turning back now. The trial begins tomorrow at 10 a.m. Hope you can make room in your schedule. What? Why am I only hearing about this now? Ah, yes, there was a change this morning. I picked a new case. Eh? Something that happened last night. Oh, you're leaving? Oh, bye, Stars Over Hyrule. Have a good one, alright? And thank you so much for raiding again. I always appreciate ya. Bye-bye! Hey, Apollo, I know you're all excited about that secret mission, but what about this? The Troop Gramarye Grand Magic Show? Huh? Oh, right. The card tricks. They're not card tricks. They're grand illusions, miracles, the apocalypse. Heaven and earth will shake. So what? That's 3 whole days from now. It's at Sunshine Coliseum. Let's go to today. You can say hi to Uncle Valent. Have fun. What? I can't go by myself. You know I'm not very outgoing. Right. Why not go with her? But what about the secret mission? Oh, don't worry about that. You'll hear all about it tomorrow regardless. I don't trust that smile. He knows something that he's not telling me. Yippee! Now you can take me to the Coliseum. I suppose it wouldn't kill me to pop over there. Gramarye. That reminds me. What's this, Daddy? Isn't this Silk Hat and the Gramarye seal? Consider it a birthday present, Trucy. Thanks, it's great. But today isn't my birthday. Good point. What day is it today, Apollo? Huh? Today? I think it's Recycle Your Plastics Day. Then it's just Recycle Your Plastics present. Yippee! So it's plastic. I've given up trying to understand them. It's much easier that way. So, what is it? Can I open it, Daddy? No. Huh? You'll need that envelope someday. Someday soon. Don't open it until then. Well, why didn't you just hold on to it until then? Because that would be the logical thing to do. An envelope about the Gramaryes, huh? Alright, so what case are you going to use? You'll really want to know, don't you? Of course I do. I mean, I'm going to be defending, aren't I? If all goes well, then yes, of course, this is just a test. We wanted everyone to start without preconceptions, a blank slate, as it were. There's a difference between having a blank slate and just being totally clueless. Whose dumb idea was that, anyway? Well, mine. Committee chair, remember? Oh. Well, if you want to know that badly, suppose I could give you permission to examine the scene of the crime. Good. That's better. But you can't talk to anyone involved with the case. What? Then how am I supposed to defend? You let me worry about the details there. Remember, I'm in charge of this trial. All of it. But you don't want it to backfire, do you? Apollo. If I am in charge of the whole trial, that means the entire affair is my responsibility, for good or for bad. Just do what you can. And don't worry, I know what I'm doing. Alright. I recommend going down to the detention center. Your client's waiting for you. You can ask about the scene there. But you just said I couldn't talk to anyone involved. Oh, you can talk to your client. If you can get her to talk. Well, time's a-wasting. It's gonna be Maya Fey, guys. She's at it again. She's the accused once again. That's 20 minutes we've been waiting here. 20 minutes! Maybe I should complain. I'm sure that guard has better things to do than stand there and pretend he doesn't see us. You know, the minute we get angry, the client will show. It always works that way. Like shouting, "Oh, waiter!" and they're standing right behind you. "Oh, guard! Is our client going to be much longer?" What are you talking about? Haven't you already started the meeting yet? Huh? Oh. Eek! What? Where'd you come from? Well, anyway, please have a seat. Alright. Introducing our final defendant of this game. I'm nervous, Apollo. It's the silence. It builds suspense. Why don't you do something, Juicy? You're a magician now, aren't you? That's right. Okay. I'm the amazing Mr. Hat. Thud. Eek! She passed out. This magic underwear might have been a better bet. That's magic panties, Apollo. Okay. Who the heck are you? Hi. Well, I'm your defense. I really think it has to be fate, you know? And by fate, I mean destiny. Did you know I'm good with astrology? Tell me, what's your sign? I can tell you mine if you like, Apollo. No, never mind. I just got carried away there. I seem destined to get difficult clients, it seems. So, what's your name? Oh, right. I'm supposed to introduce myself first. I'm Apollo Justice. And I'm Chusey Wright. I know, this is getting nowhere fast. Hey, I know. Maybe you can tell us what happened. I'm your defense attorney, after all. Anything out of the ordinary happened lately? Well, the other day this tourist coming from out of town stopped to ask me directions. Later, Chusey. I feel like I need to ask directions myself here. Well, that was fruitless. Though I think I understand despair a little better now. You did good, Apollo. Look, she's doing her nails. What? Are the nails more important than defense? Is that it? Let's go, Chusey. Excuse me. Could you read this? Sure. I feel that like a teenager on a first date, and this is the love letter we pass from desk to desk at school. Stop looking so wistful and read it, Apollo. It's a business card with a name and address. The name is Vera Misham. The address is for Drew Studio. And you're giving me this card because... So that's her name, Vera Misham. Well, looks like we're finished here. I wonder if Drew Studio is the scene of the crime. Let's go find out. Let's go find out. But first, let's go to the one place. I want to see Sunshine Coliseum. Woohoo! This is it, Apollo! The place where magic and dreams converge! Just a while ago, it was the place where murder and nightmares converged. Let's go say hi to Uncle Valiant. What about the case? Wahahahahaha! Only a performer laughs like that. The young Miss Chusey! How often I hoped we'd meet again, only to tell myself of it was an impossible dream. Tee-hee, Uncle Valiant, how's it going? I'm glad to see you too. Of course you are. Humility is definitely not one of his stronger traits. Well, Miss Chusey, how does the day find you? If you've come to give me flowers, do it after the show, I beg you. Actually, we came to wish you good luck, and congratulations on your big magic show. Oh, but it is I who wish to congratulate you. Not everyone is so lucky as to witness miracles, such as the ones I shall perform. Yeah, you're amazing, we get the picture. The world will watch in wonderment as Magnifi's illusions are reborn. Magnifi or Magnify, do you think? Here on stage, by my hand. Everyone's talking about the big magic show. Is it true that the Gramarye Miracle is back after a 7-year absence? Miss Chusey, I must apologize. The show and this honor should have been his. Daddy. My co-magician in training, Zach Gramarye. If that terrible thing hadn't. It's okay. Your father was a great magician, Chusey. If he were alive, then I, Valiant Gramarye, would have been proud to stand upon this stage as his assistant. Thanks, Uncle Valiant. You know, I'm happy you're doing the show. To think we get to see the great Magnifi's illusions again. She really is looking forward to this, isn't she? My mentor, the magnificent Magnifi Gramarye, was a true deity among magicians, a creator god who gave birth to magic and illusions that defied our very imaginations. I was so little when I last saw one, but I still remember his shows. He did wheelies in a sports car through the air above the audience, and then sped off to outer space faster than the speed of sound. I'm guessing that memory was a bit embellished. For 7 long years, the world has been waiting for a miracle to match his. As heir to the Gramarye Troop's secrets, it falls to me to provide one. It is my God-given destiny. Yes, you, nameless face who speaks for the nameless masses. How can I help you? If the world is waiting, why did you hold off for 7 long years? It appears the lad is uninformed. Perhaps you have heard of the magic known as law, which governs our land? I have, though I'm not sure it qualifies as magic. The performance of Magnifi's miracle was impossible. A certain law prevented it for 7 years, but no more. 7 years? That phrase sure likes to pop up, doesn't it? And why was that? A little matter called performance rights, Miss Trucy. Can you tell us about these performance rights? Magnify's magic relies on an incredible innovative idea, a trick if you will. That trick was considered his property, and as such, was protected by property laws. Intellectual property, maybe? Magnify knew this and bequeathed it in his will to one person. You mean him? Yes, Miss Trucy, it was your father. Zack Gremory was the inheritor of the Gremory miracle.
Daddy.
Yet, as you well know, he is gone. He disappeared suddenly 7 years ago. I think I see where this story is going. Once a person is classified missing for a certain period of time, they're considered legally deceased, correct? In all absoluteness, those rolled-up sleeves conceal your competence well, young man. That certain period of time in which you speak is 7 years.
Ah!
Yes, Miss Trucy. Though it pains me to say it, this past spring, April to be precise, was the time. Your father was legally declared deceased. In the absence of a formal will, the secrets of our mighty mentor Magnify passed to me. This was in fact stipulated by the will by Magnify himself. Is that how it works, Apollo? Yeah, it's called death in absentia. He's declared missing permanently.
Daddy.
That stinks. Hey, what do you think of this, by the way? I was wondering if you could tell me about this. Aha, why, that bears the Gremory seal. Uncle Valent? Is something wrong? Trucy, where did you get this? Huh? Daddy gave it to me. You're your daddy? My partner, Zack Gremory? No, my other daddy, Phoenix Wright. Why now? Why would your Lord Daddy? Lord Daddy? That's kind of stretching the whole archaic thing a bit. The signature upon the back, do you recognize it? That belongs to none other than Zack Gremory.
What? Daddy signed this?
Might I be so bold as to open it?
I'm sorry, but I can't let you do that. What is this envelope?
Or what's in this envelope, I wonder? Huh, that was a strange reaction, guys. Okay, let's go to Drew Studio. Ooh, cool. Listen to this music. I don't know what you guys think of this music, but there's something really unsettling about it. Really, really dark and unsettling. Wow, this looks like a studio. It's like life imitating art, or maybe it's the other way around. But the tape on the ground there, it's a bit jarring. Yeah, looks like we found our crime scene. Apollo, look at all those paintings. Hey, don't touch those. It's okay, I'm just looking. Okay. Oh, what? Huh? Apollo, look at this one. Looks half finished. You can still see the rough sketch underneath. But that's odd. The rough part doesn't look like the rest of the painting at all. Yeah, good point. That is odd. Okay. All the paintings have a really different style too. Ah, I thought I might find you two here.
Hey, Emma.
Emma, long time no see. Oh? Seems like I run into you far too often. I'll bet I know why you're here, too. You know about the trial simulation tomorrow? I've heard about it, sure. So Mr. Wright chose you, huh? You don't even know what the case is about. Well, he was killed. The artist who owns the studio, that is. Mr. Drew Misham. Misham? Is it Drew Misham or Drew Misham, maybe? And his daughter was put under arrest. Yeah, we just saw her at the detention center. It was funny, though. She seemed more like a victim than the kind of person who could commit murder. You don't say. Not even by poisoning. That's how it was done, by the way. Or you know. Poisoning's a common way to get the job done when the murderer is a woman. But poisoning? Anyway, Mr. Wright told me you'd be coming. Feel free to take a look around. I'll just be over here with my snackoos. We can't talk to anyone related to the case this time around, which means we'd better find out as much as we can here at the scene, or else. Alright, let's do some examining. I wouldn't mind taking a closer look at those paintings. I just love oils, you know? Now they're so thick. Is that the word? These paintings are all dry. I'm just surprised at how different these all are. Yeah, and what's going on with this half-finished one? Must have been a work in progress. You can still see the rough sketch below. That's what's so weird. The sketch part doesn't really fit the finished parts. I noticed. That is weird. Now, what's going on with that one, guys?
Eek! Apollo, that's where the body was!
That's the spot where Mr. Drew Misham passed away. He put the coffee mug to his lips, and the next moment, there's quite a bit of paint on the ground. See the half-painted painting there? He must have been working on that right up until the moment he died. Wow, a true artist to the end. Maybe he started it a year ago and was procrastinating. Maybe. Ah, that's the victim's coffee mug. Aha, so the poison wasn't here. This is my first time seeing a real poison mug of coffee. I would hope so. Poison coffee? Not exactly unlikely, actually. What do you mean? No traces of poison were found in the coffee. What? You'll have to figure out the rest yourself. I'm officially not on your side after all. Weird. I imagine this coffee cup was for guests to use. Guess? Did the police already analyze this cup too? Not a trace of poison was found on that cup, so the killer was after Drew Misham alone. Who could it be this time, guys? Who could be the murderer this time around? That letterbox looks funny sitting inside a room like this. Let's take a look. Empty. The other half of the letterbox is actually connected to the outside of the studio. Mr. Misham would put his letters in there, and the postman took them away. Impressive that someone still writes letters in this day and age. Or wrote, rather. What is this now? Hey, there's a painting hidden back here. Hey, you're right. What if it's embarrassing somehow and he didn't want anyone to see it? You certainly seem pleased by the possibility. Huh? It's so normal. That's hardly something to get mad about. Huh? What is it, Apollo? Well, doesn't this painting look like... Never mind. I better get a professional opinion on this. A hidden painting. That's this painting. What's the dealio there? Look at this side. Let's take a closer look at the desk here. Look at this thing. Something about the way the figure is posed. I've seen that pose before. It's you, Apollo. See, you're making one of your flamboyant gestures. Please, I'm a professional. I wonder why it's posed like that. Coincidence? Coincidence? So this is Drew Misham, and this little girl must be Vera. Yes, they took that some years ago. They look close, a happy little family. Until you arrested his daughter. Ack! Look, I was personally against that, okay? She just didn't seem very suspicious, scientifically speaking. Uh-huh, right. What's this little picture? Why is it so small? Ooh, cute. Look at the tiny frame, Apollo. Tiny is right. That thing's barely 2 inches high. What picture would fit in that? None, apparently. It's empty. There's no glass in it, either. What's it doing sitting on the desk? This is a lesson for us all. Be sure to check the sizes when you buy frames. Is this a journal? Wow, talk about a clue. Let's read it. What is it, Apollo? Didn't write in the name of the killer, did he? It's new. He didn't write a single line. Arrgh, you had me going for a while there. Wah, wah. Hey, Apollo, what's this feather thingy? Isn't it a pen? Like an old-fashioned quill pen? But it doesn't have a pointy end. That was most likely for sweeping detritus off his desk. Wow, you sure know a lot, Emma. Bold and scientific, that's my motto. Exactly what about that was bold or scientific? This envelope has been opened and resealed. Oh, I know how to do that. You take a pot of boiling water and hold the envelope up to the steam. The glue melts and it opens. Cool, huh? Whoever did this wasn't so delicate. You're right. Looks like they just ripped it open and stuck it back together. Huh? The postmark on this letter is from 7 years ago. Why would someone open a letter then seal it again? Better hang on to this. Guys. That's what I gotta say. Alright. Let's talk to Emma. So, this, Drew Misham was some kind of artist? Apparently. Did a lot of illustrations for books, I hear. Had a lot of female fans, too, for what it's worth. Oh? Well, I guess his stuff is kinda pretty. Like that old oil painting over there, for instance. Yeah. That wasn't one of his illustrations, actually. Huh? So it was a standalone painting or something? Is that what she means? He was an odd bird, Misham. Hadn't shown his face to anyone until the end. What do you mean, to anyone? He was always locked up here in the studio, apparently. The only connection to the outside world was through letters that he'd put in that letterbox there. Letters? People still write letters? What do you mean, Apollo? I mean, when was the last time you wrote a real letter? Don't most people use email and stuff these days? Mr. Misham couldn't stand technology, it seems. He did everything by mail. Maybe he thought that way was more artistic, you know? In any case, the only person beside him allowed in here was his daughter, Vera. Oh, you mean the killer? The suspect, please. We took some fingerprints, of course. Only ones found in the room were Mr. Misham's and Vera's, basically. Basically? Actually, last night, Mr. Misham gave an interview to a reporter for the first time. It happened during the interview, apparently. His first interview ever? Could you tell us a bit more about what happened that night of the murder? So, this woman, Vera, she's Mr. Misham's daughter, right? Misham, I don't know. Yep, a real sickly girl ever since she was little. Hardly ever went outside. She did kind of give off a withdrawn sort of aura. She was homeschooled by her father, apparently. It was quite a scene when they took her to the detention center. She was screaming about how she'd die if they took her outside. That does sound like a scene. In the end, she agreed to leave if she was allowed her good luck charm for company. Her good luck charm? Apparently, she has this charm that magically gives her the courage to go outside. Why can't I ever get a normal client? But why would a shut-in daughter kill her own dad? Don't look at me. So about the poison, it was found to be in his coffee, right? No, not precisely. Not precisely? What does that mean? You mean see for yourself, I think. Like I said, last night was the first time someone from the outside came into the studio. I guess mysterious painters who never go outside make for good articles, and it just so happened that he died the night of the first interview. At around 9 p.m. every night, Vera always made him a cup of coffee. Last night, he drank his usual coffee and suddenly became violently ill. And died? She poisoned him on the night of his interview? What did the reporter see? He wasn't near Mr. Misham when she brought her father his coffee. He was checking out some equipment in the back of the room. Supposedly, that's why she didn't notice he was there. It was the reporter who called the police, in fact. Wait, but why is she the suspect? If anyone is suspicious, it's the reporter. Yet the reporter never got near Mr. Misham's coffee. Even Vera acknowledges that. Regardless, I want to know more about this reporter. I bet Emma could help us out here. Don't forget, flattery will get you everywhere with her, Apollo. Huh? What are you two whispering about? Well, I was thinking. I mean, what is it we always do when we run into you at a crime scene? What is it we always do, scientifically? Ah, you know me too well. Okay. Okay, meaning we can get, scientific now? Oh, I suppose. Just this once. Bring me anything you find suspicious and we'll check it out. Okay. How about the coffee cup? So, Emma, about this coffee mug. Hope you weren't trying to grill me for information. You know I'm not talking. Suppose you are the detective here. Why don't you two take a look yourselves? Find a clue and might not be unwilling to lend a hand. I'll have to, check the coffee mug. Alright. Whoops, no, not this. It's a weird picture, but... Bah. Hey, look there! That stain doesn't look so healthy, Apollo. That must be the Blue Mountain stuff we've been hearing about. Something tells me that even Blue Mountain coffee isn't this blue. No, the stain is probably... better ask Emma. And that's it, apparently. There's also this. This letter. Apollo, look, it's been opened once here. You're right. I wonder if there's some way we can see what's inside. Should I try to get it open and then stick it back shut? Let's not tamper with the evidence, shall we? I've got a better idea. Emma, let's ask her. Then there's this weird landscape. What is this bit here? Apollo, look at this painting. You can see the rough sketch. Oh, looks like it was only half completed. Huh? That's funny. Do the rough sketch and the final painting look totally different to you too? They do, actually. What's that all about? What's going on here with this one? Alright. Emma, about this mug. There's a pale blue, residue on the rim. That? Yes, well, it's just a rumor. But I've heard there's a kind of coffee called Blue Mountain. I'm pretty sure it isn't actually blue, Emma. Right. Okay, you got me. That's left over from my testing spray. Forensic science. I knew your hobby was behind this somehow, Emma. It's not a hobby. So, what kind of scientific stuff were you up to? This spray, that's what. It turns blue when it touches poison. So, the poison that killed the victim was on this mug? That's right. See? It wasn't in the coffee. The killer applied it to the rim of the mug itself. Wow, science is amazing. Certainly is helpful. Maybe Emma'd be willing to help us out a bit more. You should try buttering her up, Apollo. They say flattery will get you everywhere. Certainly worth talking to her a bit more. About poison analysis? I was afraid you were going to ask about that. See, this solution is used to test for atroquinine. Atroquinine? Again, is that how you say that? Atroquinine, the deadly poison found in the autopsy. Uh-oh, I know that spark in her eyes. She's getting excited. Best tread lightly. It's one of the most virulent poisons, but it's absorbed into the body astonishingly slowly. It takes at least 15 minutes from the time of ingestion for adverse effects to show. Oh, and guess what? Recent research has shown that that's fine, really. We don't need to know all the gory details. I think I get it. You just sprayed the stuff on something you want to test, right? Precisely. You can find even the slightest trace of poison with this. I want to try it too, Emma. Pretty please. You don't have to ask twice. I already used it on everything suspicious, of course. Yay, let's give it a whirl, Apollo. What are you doing? I was just seeing if I got a reaction off of you. How's this for a reaction? Never do that again. I'm not poisonous. So that to those hapless witnesses on the stand. Let's just get down to checking for real poison, shall we? Okay. Spray detected reagent. I'm not seeing anything here. Is it the mug? It's pronounced quinine, atroquinine. I gotcha. Once again, it's weird. Language is weird. Too bad, no reaction here. I'm sure Emma checked out all the likely spots. Wait a second. What is it, Apollo? Did you spray that little desk over there? I don't think so. The spray probably can't reach that far, you know. Let's check it out, just to be sure. Okay. The envelope. This thing. The picture. The books. Oh. Oh. You missed the I at the end. Kawaii. Atroquinine. That's weird. Eek! A reaction, Apollo. Ugh! Where? The inside of that cute little frame. Look. Well, would you look at that. Nice going, Trucy. I'm known to work magic. Never mind that I was the one who found it. What would the inside of that frame have poison on it? It looks like we found the only other place that was poisoned, in any case. Ho ho ho. And that's not all. Emma, about this. Oh, yes, why, that's a bright red envelope. She sure is jumpy. Someone opened this, didn't they? My lips are sealed. Your lips are sealed? That's a first. You mean, you know what's inside the envelope? Sure, I read it, after all. Ah, you mean you were the one who ripped this open? Ha, please, I would have steamed it open. But she did sneak a peek at it, apparently. Know that I have a powerful weapon on my side. Weapon? Yes, the use of tools. Highly specialized tools for information gathering. Tools I wouldn't mind getting my hands on. You should try flattering her, Apollo. They say a little praise can open big doors. Never heard that one, but it's good advice. Let's try talking up to her some more. About that envelope we found, I was wondering if you could help us out with that tool you were mentioning. You want to know about my tool, do you? It's called an X-ray analyzer. X-ray, like the X-rays you get at the dentist? That's right, at least that's what I call it. Huh? It has a real name, but it's much more complicated. The X-ray spectralization... something. How am I supposed to remember all that? So, basically it lets you see inside things, like envelopes. That's right. You're sharp, Trucy, but it's a bit more complicated than that, in practice, of course. Actually, to tell the truth, I'm not really sure how it works scientifically. Can I try it out, Emma, please? Oh, I suppose. Of course, I've already checked out everything suspicious myself. Alright, let's give it a spin, Apollo. Yarg! What are you doing? Oh, just seeing if I could see through your hair, but it's like a lead. Point that thing at me anymore and it might all fall out. Then I wouldn't need an X-ray machine to see through it. Let's just get down to business, shall we? Right, let's test it on a sample first. Just so happens that I have a lottery ticket here. Are you guys ready for a brand new 3DS or DS gimmick? You set the sample in the device like so. I don't see anything. Patience, there's no need to get all antsy. Look at the right side of the screen. That's the layer view of the envelope. Layer view? You got it set to display the outside of the envelope now, see? Actually, it's quicker to just have you give it a try. Turn that dial there with for me, would you? That's right. That's how you choose what death you want to scan. Hey, I got something. See? That's how you can read the letters on the ticket line. Cool, huh? Except, I can't read them. Just turn the dial a little more. What you have to understand is that a sheet of paper isn't really flat at all. When you zoom in that much, you see that paper is like a bunch of hills and valleys. Wow, really? This X-ray device uses a beam with a wavelength of only 0.05 microns. It breaks cards down into thin layers, so it can only show what's written on that layer. I'm not entirely following you, but what good is it if you can't read anything? That's why we go on step 2. Try rubbing the image a bit, if you would. Rubbing? Like going over the image with blah 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 while holding A? If you had the stylus, it would be a much different matter. There, that fixes the image on the screen. Now turn the dial again, just a little. Good, now you can rub this image to fix it too. Hey, I get it. We just keep doing this until we've got the whole thing. Exactly, not bad. Neat, let's do some more. Okay. I think we won this, guys. I think we won it. I think we win the lottery. There we go. Okay, let's print this one out. Does this mean I have to buy another one to win? Well, it's Emma's ticket. Let her buy another one. It's okay, there's no need. But see, this is the true hidden power of my weapon. Neat, huh? Let's try it out on that real thing, shall we? Is this a real thing, Captain Chips? An X-ray analyzer thing? Because if it is, cool. Then cool she's my dude. Drew Misham. I can see the name there. Deposited monies, it said. Oh dear. But that you're aware of, not in any standard issue investigative work. So maybe only Emma has it. Someone deposited 100,000 into Mr. Misham's account? His paintings must really be valuable. There's another page in there. Care to take a look? You bet I do. If you're going to read someone's mail, you might as well read it all. Here goes with the second page then.
Scanning, scanning.
First page seemed pretty normal. Well, as far as normal goes. Sign the something or other. The enclosed envelope. Send it. Enclosed stamp. Send it in the enclosed envelope with the enclosed stamp within 3 days. Okay, let's print this one out. So it was a letter about payment for one of his paintings. Why all the secrecy, though? And what? Why was this letter the only one in here? It's 7 years old, right? Maybe it had some special significance to him. Well, Emma? Well, indeed. She knows something she's not telling us. Looks like she's keeping mum about it. So, Emma, I was wondering, what's the story about this reporter that came here for a story the night of the crime? I'm afraid I can't. Hang on. Afraid I can't tell you because he's going to be a witness tomorrow, I hear. I thought so. I'll never forget that face, but what was his name? Oh, right. Brushel. Brushel? He's after a scoop to sell to the papers. So a reporter comes for an interview with the painter. His first interview ever, and that night he's killed. Seems strange to you. Really strange. It does raise a few questions. I'd like to speak with this reporter if I could. Well, I hear he's on the beat today too. He said something about covering a magician. Magician? Well, if it's not Juicy, that leaves only one other person. It wasn't Valent Gramarye by any chance, was it? Yeah, something like that. He's got some big show lined up, I hear. So he's out interviewing Valent Gramarye. Looks like I'll be heading out to that Coliseum again sooner than I thought. Here, I'll give you the reporter's card if you want. Brussel. Spark Brushel is his name, apparently. What's this, by the way? Oh, Emma, I was wondering about this painting here. Ah! That one? What about it? What about it? Yeah, what about it, Apollo? Take a closer look at it, both of you. Now look at this one. This is the third painting he was working on. Hey, they're the same. I was hoping you wouldn't find that. You're right, though. Drew Misham was copying this painting. Wow, it's pretty good. Copying a painting? What for? Isn't there a term for copying a painting, guys? Hey, bro. Where's Brushel's card? Where's Brussel? So, a journalist was here on a story? All eyes in the universe are upon my stage. All pens seek to commit its mysteries to paper. Forgery? I think that's it. His name was Brushel. Brushel. I think he remembers him. He doesn't look too happy about it. Brushel. That cloying smell of mint when he smiles, yes. Could you tell us more about him? What did he want? A man by that name called on me just now. Just now? Valent's vision is always toward tomorrow. Valent's feet step always forward. That is all. That's all? Very confusing. I am to perform a big magic show, yes? I wanted someone to cover it. Yet he had ears only for that incident. That incident? In any case, I requested that the rapacious reporter remove himself. So a painter has died. What of it? It is but a footnote in the footlights compared to the magic of Gremory. Uncle Valent, do you know where the reporter went? I recommended that he visit the place popular with penalized perpetrators. The detention center? He was a rude individual. Might I see that card? Sure. He would tear apart my respectability, and I will tear apart him. Technically speaking, though, a lot of painters used to copy other painters' paintings to practice. Nice. As long as they don't submit them, right? Oh, here it comes, Apollo. Uncle Valent's big magic trick. Is he going to fix the card? Not sure that qualifies as big magic. What happened to the big magic? Is it not more miraculous for it to stay ripped? You must have really not have liked that journalist. Now the time has come when I must return to make my present preparations. By your leave, Mr. C. Thanks, Uncle Valent. 3 days from now, make ready for a miracle. What do you think that journalist was after? And why did Valent react like that to this envelope? I think it's time to pay the detention center another visit. I'm gonna play until the next, when this, chapter part ends here. It's actually not too much longer, so enjoy, guys. Enjoy this reporter. Leave your thoughts about him in the comments below when you see him. I think I hear what you're saying. We're all doing it for the money. End quote. No, not at all. Looks like someone's already meeting here. Maybe that reporter? Hi there. How are you doing? Who might you be? Sorry. We didn't know someone was already here. I'm Apollo Justice, attorney at law. Talk about a nervous monkey. You? You're Justice? You know me? Do I know you? Of course I know you. Stars down witnesses on stand till they spill beans. End quote. But that's not true. What's he writing? Are you a reporter by any chance? Whoa, you're Trucy. Huh? Am I famous? Oh yeah. Trucy Wright hates carrying a bag. Puts everything she owns in her panties. End quote. Eek! That's so not true. Just hold on to your breeches there. I'll wrap up this interview in a jiffy. Interview? So, guard, I think I know what's going on here. Guarding rooms is my life. What else could I possibly need? End quote. No, how many times do I have to tell you this? Look, I've got the work to do. You deal with him. Did you come here to interview the guard? Ooh-wee, what a pickle. Accused wouldn't talk. Had to interview someone or go plumb crazy. End quote. Huh? Oh, hi, Vera. I should have guessed. Where's my manners? Name's Brushel. Spark Brushel. I'm not picky. Journalist just close his eyes, right? End quote. What's that nauseatingly strong mint smell every time he grins? Until you've been interviewed by me, you don't know what thrilling is. Wild romp through crossroads of mayhem, madness, end quote. I can't see that. He's writing something again. Well, if he's a reporter, maybe he knows something. Whew, what do you think of this guy, guys? So, Mr. Brushel, you're a journalist? Me. Look, let me just state one thing for the record here. Yes? I'm the interviewer, you understand? Yeah? I'm the one asking the questions here. End quote. Okay. For instance, you think a movie director watches movies? Well, I think he probably does. You could use him as a toothbrush. Maybe. Exactly. I knew you'd understand. Huh? So, the night of the murder, you were at Drew's studio? Who, me? Look, let me state one thing for the record. Yes? I may look calm and collected, but I'm busy, real busy, always on the road. Journalist always buys one-way tickets, never looks back. End quote. I can understand the philosophy, but you want this man to fall off a cliff? I don't blame you. How high is he on the kill this man list, guys? You want to know one thing about one-way tickets? Once you use them, they're gone. All because you have to give them to the guy at the airport. True enough, but don't they give normal tickets away too? Exactly. See? It's the same thing. What is... So you went to do a story on Drew Misham, and he'd never have a story done about him before? That's right. Look, let me state one thing for the record here. What? I'm sure you're going to want to know about my source. What tipped me off to Drew? Why do the interview in the first place? Well, yes. Look, it's like... Oh, I've got it. Say there's this burger joint with fabulous ketchup. You think the burger guy's going to tell me where he got it? At the supermarket, maybe? Exactly, see? That's what I'm talking about. I think I may have actually understood that one. Well, there's nothing I can talk, really. I mean, probably not on the scale, but you want him dead. You just personally want him dead. Well, you're not alone, I'm pretty sure. Walls have ears, eyes, especially glass walls with speakers. End quote. Right, guess we'll leave then. But since you're here, might as well tell you a tidbit of news I saw, just for the heck of it. Sure, tell us, just for the heck of it. I remember it like it was yesterday. I'd seen a movie on a trip wandering into this burger place with amazing ketchup, when an article in a tabloid caught my eye. Famous oil painting stolen from art dealer's gallery, end quote, I believe it was. An oil painting? Happens every day, right? But I thought I'd seen that painting somewhere before. A painting of a giant peach floating down a river. Someone stole an oil painting? Of a giant peach? Like James and the Giant... I mean, journalists can smell scoop better than burgers, end quote. Is it this one? Right. Let me go on the record here. Yes? I know what you're going to say. Brushel, take this, write brilliant column, end quote. I don't think so. Look, buddy, I write brilliant columns about one thing, and that's food. I don't understand. What could he possibly be writing? He didn't listen to a word I said. Out of all the characters you'd seen in all of these games so far, would this one be like high on the list of people you want dead on sight, and not by like what kind of person they are? Just on sight, I want this person jumping off every cliff. This is the number one. Awesome. It might be my number one too, to be honest. The one doctor is pretty high up there, but this guy, oof. Well, how'd it go? Find anything out? Happy April, by the way, guys. You don't care what he's done, you want that man erased from reality. Yep, this feels like an April Fool's joke, and it is April now, so maybe we're all the real fools here. Actually, there was one thing I wanted to check with you. What's with that scary face you're making? What's with the I know something but I'm not telling face you've got going, Emma? The painting. This painting came from behind that dresser. Yes, so it was stolen, no? I was hoping you wouldn't figure that out. Do you think you could tell us a bit about this? I suppose. It's what you think. Drew Misham was a forger. A forger? Here we go. So, what exactly is a forger? Well, basically, it's someone who makes forgeries. Fakes, in other words. Fakes? Copies of an original. Exact copies, so precise you can't tell them apart. Well, why not just photocopy them? The big problem with forgeries is that people try to sell them as the real article. It's a crime, of course. So, Drew Misham was a criminal? I'm afraid so. He received money to create elaborate forgeries. Supplement his work in illustration, I guess. I see. Actually, that was why I brought this here in the first place. What do you mean? When you're trying to determine if a painting is a forgery, the rough sketch underneath can be a valuable clue. So the rough sketch is like a practice for the real thing? Like doing a magic trick in front of a mirror before you go on stage. But not in the case of a forgery, not necessarily anyway. You know what the finished product is going to look like after all? Oh yeah, I guess you would. That's why I brought this. I'm going to use it to see what's under the paint of the finished pieces. I get it now. Not that I really needed to go to such lengths, seeing as how one of the paintings was only half finished anyway. Still, it'd be neat to see Mr. Misham's rough sketches, kind of like what he was drawing when he thought no one was looking. True, that would be interesting, and maybe valuable for our case. You should try buttering her up, Apollo. Flattery will get you everywhere, they say. Maybe I should ask Emma to help us out. Alright, this is the last bit of this here. Figuring out what is with these paintings. I kind of wanted to see the rough sketch under this painting, and I was wondering if you could use your tool there, or your tool there might do the trick. Oh, fine, just this time though. Let's check it out. We'll start with this one. I really want to know what's underneath here. Alright. Rub, 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 rub. I don't see any peaches right now. Rub, rub, rub. Rub, rub. Something looks familiar in this, guys. Oh. Something looks really familiar here. Okay, let's print this one out. What? What the heck? Wow, he really blows. The finished painting isn't anything like the rough. Devices like mine didn't exist until recently. Probably thought he could draw any sort of thing he wanted to for the rough. What do you mean? Well, in the past, you could only analyze the composition of a rough sketch. Composition? In other words, the traces of charcoal between paint and canvas, so you could tell if there had been a rough sketch, but not what it looked like. I think I follow you. So in essence, it wouldn't matter what was underneath the finished painting. Some pros would actually paint out a rough sketch entirely, then do a complete new painting on the top of that. So Mr. Misham was drawing whatever he wanted before painting over them? Possibly. Is there a problem with that? Not particularly, but something about the sketch itself is kind of odd. You're awfully silent about all of a sudden, Apollo. You think we could check out one of the other paintings? Well, sure. You like this detection stuff, don't you? Let's do the first one again. Or not again, but let's do the first one. Alright, here we go. Yay. Everything looks normal so far. Wait a minute. Okay, something is weird here. Something is very, very weird. I mean, I know what the weird thing is, but I'm just acting. What's the dealio? Let's print this out. This looks familiar. This one too. What's wrong, Apollo? You look so serious all of a sudden. You think I could just look at the last of these? Fine by me. Knock yourself out. Okay, let's look at the fish.
At the fish.
Hopefully this one's normal, right guys? Everything looks normal. Still just smudges to me. Oh dear. Okay, let's print this one out. What's going on, guys? What the heck is all this? I hesitate to ask why you're getting so excited. You sure your device isn't leaking some kind of strange radiation? Trucy, look at these 3 sketches. Do you notice anything? Cards. Noodle stand. Guitar. Ah! They're... Now you're both white as sheets. What's going on? These sketches are of the 3 cases I worked on. What? The murder in the poker room at the Borscht Bowl Club. The dead man pulling the noodle stand. And then... the events that transpired during the Gaviners concert. What could it mean? How could he have drawn those things? And why? That's what I want to know. Wait, is Drew Misham your father? Give me a break. Does that even seem remotely possible to you? I've never even heard of any Drew Misham before. Hadn't even seen a picture of him. But there were my cases, drawn on his canvas. Every single one of them. It couldn't have been a coincidence. Just who was this Drew Misham? And what did he have to do with me? This is going to be a weird case, guys. But we will be seeing this weird case next time. Tomorrow is today is April Fool's Day. And we'll have an interesting set of streams on that day. So I hope you look forward to it. Take care, guys. Have a good one. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.